Good evening. Good evening, good evening. The Sacramento City Council meeting will come to order. Would the clerk please call the roll to establish a quorum?
Councilmember Ashby. Here. Councilmember Warren. Here. Councilmember Harris. Here. Councilmember Hanson. Here. Councilmember Carr. Here. Vice Mayor Jennings. Here. Councilmember Guerra. Here. Councilmember Chenier. Here. And Mayor Steinberg.
I'm here. Thank you very much. We have a full council tonight.
Yay!
Well, thank you very much, Wanda. Appreciate that.
I see you guys. Oh,
It's good to see you too.
I bet it is.
Let us begin. Let me ask the cadets and the Boy Scouts. Where are the Boy Scouts? They're here. I'm not exactly sure of your troops, but come on up, all of you, please, because we would, what's that? 447. We would like to give you the honor, and you would honor us by leading us, please, in the Pledge of Allegiance. Aha! Where is he? Tyus.
Oh, there he is.
We will not single out Tyus. Hey, Ty. Okay. Everybody please rise. Okay. The flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Very good. Thank you all very, very much for coming here tonight. Let us begin with the city attorney. Do you have any report, sir?
There's no report, Mayor.
No reports. Very, very good. We begin our meeting with public testimony for items not on the formal agenda. Why don't we begin with that? How many speakers do we have tonight, Madam Clerk?
I have 9 speakers for matters not on the agenda. The first one is Patricia Taylor, and then John Rieger, and then Renee Marie. Patricia
Welcome all
Taylor.
of you. If you don't mind all coming up at one time, it saves us a little bit of time. Appreciate it. Welcome, welcome.
Hi, I was supposed to have a helper here to do a PowerPoint.
You want to do an audio-visual here. Okay, hold on just a minute. We won't begin the 2-minute clock yet.
Okay. So I'm Patricia Taylor. I live in the Wood Lake neighborhood, and I'm speaking in regards, which one? In regards to the proposal to put homeless shelter, winter shelter in Del Paso, and the homeless shelter triage center. So this is a sign that you see when you enter Wood Lake, and you see that we're neighbors and friends and tranquil. This was a sign in the newspaper recently, and I'm speaking of a point of view here. So that's one picture of where you're proposing to put the homeless shelter and triage center, and calling all of us NIMBYs, not in my backyard people.
Nobody up here has used that language or...
Well, it was on the newspaper thing, article. And then here's another point of view. This is from our front door, and right down 0.2 miles, 300 yards from our front door, is where the triage center and this shelter is proposed to go. It's pretty close. In the morning, down the street, the children walk to Wood Lake School. You can see the school crossing there and some children this morning. This is the Wood Lake Elementary School, home of the Beavers, lovely little neighborhood school. Now, my thought here is there may be other options. You know, I'm a compassionate person. You know, homeless need to, this has to be solved, this homeless thing. But here's another place. This is on Jola Street and Blumenthal. I drove around the area, and here's a big place, big property for sale. Oh, here's the Wonder Bread Hostess, that big empty building. I just think you can look around to find something
Your time.
that's
2
not
minutes.
so close to us.
Good, thank you so much for coming to testify. And we're hard at it.
Next speaker is John Rieger, and then Renee Marie.
Good evening. I'm John Rieger, Chapter President of Local Veterans for Peace Chapter. We're here tonight taking a knee in support of Colin Kaepernick and the athletes who are protesting racism and police brutality in America. And you might ask yourself, well, why are veterans doing this? Veterans for Peace has two main goals. One is peace abroad, which is fairly obvious. The other one is peace at home. And there can't be any peace at home until we have justice. And we won't have any justice as long as there's racism and excess police force happening. So we were here tonight taking a knee during the pledge in support of the athletes and Colin on this issue of racism and police brutality. Thank you.
Next speaker is Renee Marie, and then Flora Grizel.
Thank you for this opportunity, and thank you to the first responders who are in the room. Service above self often requires that we are uncomfortable. I decided to be uncomfortable for 20 years, and I loved it. I stood ready to serve. Afghanistan was my command battlefield. Our United States is not a battlefield. I stand now in support of the right to use one's given platform to take a knee non-violently until liberty and justice truly is for all. I do not hold any disrespect when I see someone in solidarity taking a knee. Although I help to prepare our fallen warriors leaving the battlefield in Afghanistan, and although I served as a casualty assistance officer for 6 of our local fallen warriors, please understand that veterans fight and serve and work for peace to honor the right of others to use their platform nonviolently. May we all join in their right until liberty and justice is for all, and may we listen to the national dialogue and join in. Thank you.
Thank you for your service, and nicely said.
Next speaker is Flora Grizel, and then Billy Booth.
Good evening, good evening. I'm also here to talk about the homeless shelter and triage proposal in the Woodlake area. So I'm a retired police officer and teacher, so I've had interactions with homeless and transients as an officer, but also with homeless children in the educational system. So I'm not without compassion for the plight of people. It's rough times for a lot of folks, and some of us are a couple paychecks away from being homeless. I understand that. I was drawn to the area of Woodlake. It's a quaint neighborhood, growing businesses on Del Paso Boulevard. It's just, I was very happy to move there in December, because now, as I said, I'm retired. I'm concerned, however, about the location of these shelters with less than 2 miles between them, the number of beds proposed in a neighborhood trying to grow in a positive direction. I'm concerned about an elementary school within the borders, as the woman showed you, and there's also a child care facility in the area. I'm concerned about a business district that is beginning to flourish amidst empty warehouses, marijuana grow houses, and empty storefronts. We have SAC PD, but we also pay for our own security company because it's not enough. We have a problem with vandalism, drug abuse, and crime perpetrated by transients and the homeless in the area. That will only be exacerbated by a shelter and triage. I heard a homeless advocate, last time I was here, request that bathrooms be opened. Well, our bathrooms were opened in our neighborhood park, but we had to close them because of vandalism. So they're no longer available. I'm beginning to feel that District 2 and North Sacramento are really stepchildren. This is me, outside observer, coming into the city for the first time, really. And I'm beginning to feel that District 2 and North Sac are the stepchildren of Sacramento City, and it's very disheartening. I would hope that the city would be just as interested in helping a neighborhood reach its full potential and growth as it is for the development and helping of homeless people. That way we all succeed. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Is Billy Booth, and then Wanda Cleveland.
Good evening, Councilman and Mayor. I'm here again tonight about the proposed shelters, as you're probably tired of hearing about. I am afraid, because right now I've already dealt with the homeless for the past 14 years. And if you bring an influx, I'm afraid of that. I got an estimate from Paladin, $4,900 a month to extra patrol my area there. There are neighbors that don't feel safe now. I woke up at 3 o'clock this morning by the homeless rummaging through a pile for pickup. This goes on repeatedly. I've been chest bumped by somebody running from the street up to my door and literally chest bumping me. I've had them at my back fence trying to come over, even with and I'm sorry, I'm going to spray them with a water hose. If my dogs don't get them, somebody's going to get them before they get in, okay? I've had them walk out my front door, and I'll say, what are you doing? Well, I'm going to the bathroom right here. No, you're not. These are things that I've experienced, and I'm not saying not in my backyard. I'm just saying we need to tighten the plan up. Whatever the plan is, it needs to be tightened up, because we're going to need extra police, or somebody's going to have to help with extra patrols. We've cleaned alleys. I've cleaned alleys myself and called the city and said, here, the trash bags are at the end of the alley. Go ahead and take them. That's all I'm asking, is I think we need more time and more thought behind this. Thank you.
Ms. Booth. Thank you.
Next speaker is Wanda Cleveland, and then Michael Voy.
Well, if they don't want them there, where shall the homeless lie? Where should they be legally able to stay? Everybody in every district says, not in my backyard. Well, let's put them in a boat and just send them away to someone else to deal with them. That's what this city's been doing all along. And I'm glad to see, for the first time in the 2 years that I've been up here hounding you guys for a place, that they finally coming up with a plan. And I'm pleased. It may not be a perfect plan, but I didn't see Woodlake here all the 2 years that I have been here to come up with a plan along with you. But now that you guys are coming up with this plan, they're going to bitch about it. Excuse my language, but that's what's happening. I like the fact that they're looking at other places also, like 24th and Florin. If you guys want, please come out to Elk Grove and talk to our Elk Grove City Council and put one next door to me. I won't mind. Then I don't have to go so far. Better yet, let's put some bathrooms out here that we all can use. Do they know that they want to charge me to use the bathrooms that I put into that park? Do you think I didn't pay my taxes? I'm 61 years old. And I can't even use a bathroom in which I help pay and put in there. No, I haven't always lived in Elk Grove. I have lived in Sacramento City many times. I paid my taxes too. Woodlake wants to complain, let them complain, but put that triage center there and that homeless place there and put it in Elk Grove. I'll be glad to have them.
Next speaker is Michael Voy, and then Rochelle Lacey.
Mr. Voy?
Evening, Mayor, council members. I'm going to talk about a couple things. First of all, when I didn't take a knee, but when I say the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag, it's to the country, the flag, and the Constitution, not to any administration. It's for the system that I pledge allegiance, and therefore that's the reason that I didn't take a knee, but I support their feelings. Okay, now there are a couple of council members have made comments at the close of a couple of city council meetings indicating that they might be willing to have some movement on the porta potties or restroom facilities. I don't know whether porta potties is the right phrase or not. That is needed. It's needed downtown. I can take you on a walking tour of downtown, and it smells like an outhouse. It's not a place that I would want to come for any kind of destination. The alleys are a mess. K Street between 8th and 9th was filthy. It's been somewhat cleaned up. And the thing that we need to remember about this is that when they clean it up, they hose it all into the drains where the little fish is. So that means it's going into the river, and that's part of the E. coli thing. It's coming from downtown. It's coming from every area in the city. It's not necessarily people along the river. So you got a big problem. You need to have restrooms downtown. You need to have them a lot of different places, and you need to pony up for it. I suggest that you contact Austin. I'm not sure exactly what they did, but they built a center for homelessness in Austin. I never have seen it, but when I read about it in the paper probably 15 years ago, there were showers and lockers and all this, and it was downtown.
We're going next week, a number of members in the community leadership are going to Austin for the annual chamber study mission, so we'll check that out. Thank you so much, Mr. Boyd.
Thank you.
And those issues are on the agenda.
Rochelle Lacey, and then Elaine Jackson.
Hello, Council. My name is Rochelle Lacey. I live actually in District 8, Mr. Carr, and I live right next to the 24th Street Bypass Park. This is a exasperated problem. I am working with a nuisance abatement in that area. The nuisance abatement officer, the increase in drug use, drug sales, prostitution on the corner of my street has skyrocketed in the last 3 months. The homeless population has moved out towards 24th and Florin. They're there. So I have neighbors that they're sleeping on their property. There is an astronomical amount of litter that is continually blowing into my yard. The crime is just going up and up. My husband and I continually call the police. The police are now telling us there is really nothing that they can do. They come out, they run the people off. 2 hours later, the park is full again. I am asking the council, what steps do I need to take to help to keep my neighborhood, my neighbors, the children in my neighborhood safe from the crime that we see from our front door? I see continual prostitution. I see drug deals continually. I am a working citizen. My family has lived in the neighborhood since the 60s. We own the property. I'm at a loss as what to do. So, Mr. Mayor, is there any advice you can give me? Start writing letters? Just continue to call the police?
Well, Councilmember Carr, I think sit down with one of your representatives or with our city staff to help talk through the problem and see what we can do to help you.
So try to have a meeting with you, Mr. Carr?
If you could leave me your contact information,
Yes,
we can get a hold of you.
Okay.
absolutely. Would you like to give it to me? Would you like me to give it to you right now, sir?
No, we're on TV, so I
Okay.
think you.
Well, obviously, she has it, though. I left it. I did leave
We've got
it.
We'll make sure Councilmember Carr
Perfect.
reaches out to you and you
And
get
I would
together.
love to work with the nuisance abatement officer that we've been working with for over
Okay.
4 months.
Good.
Thank
Thank you
you,
for
sir.
coming to City Hall. We'll try to help you, of
Just
course.
for information, Mr. Mayor, we were there yesterday, along with code enforcement, the parks, the park rangers, the police, in the apartment complex, the senior complex right behind the park.
Right.
And they came up with some really good suggestions on how they could deal with the people hanging out in that park.
Yes.
And we'll be working on it, so I want you to be part of the solution to that.
I would love to do that, sir. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Thank you for coming. Try to help.
The next speaker is Elaine Jackson, and then Joan Lewis Kennard.
Yes, hi, my name is Elaine Jackson, and I live in the Woodlake neighborhood. I'm here today not to pick on any of the homeless because I believe we should all be contributing to helping this situation, and that's really why I'm here. Right now, the proposal is to surround Woodlake neighborhood with a triage center, low-income housing, a shelter. On the other two sides bounding Woodlake, you have public transportation, light rail, and huge bus depot there that comes in and out of the neighborhood. On the other side, you've got a mental health hospital and a storage facility coming in. Last week, a female, one of the women speakers that in the open forum told you guys that she lives out of her storage unit. Many people do that. We see it all the time. So this is the issue right now, what you're planning on doing to the Woodlake neighborhood. You've got it surrounded with issues, and I believe that every district should be sharing in this problem. And my suggestion is 200 people in every single district. That way, no district can really jump up and complain, not put it in our district, because they each need to share in this issue. If you do that, you're going to have a lot less pushback because everybody has to do it then. It's not fair that you come into one district and do this amount. It's really not. I've never seen this. We all pay taxes in Sacramento. We all deserve to be represented by all of you. We all do, not just a few people. So I believe that every one of you should be addressing this issue in your district too and supporting that. You should each one of you should be having 200 people and helping this issue. And it will go a long way for everyone in the city. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, good evening, Mayor, council members, Vice Mayor, and everyone. May I choose my words well as President Trump did, giving sympathy to friends and family of those who passed on 59 and over 500 who went to the hospital and are still alive, thank God. Both are still, and I cried for both, and the problem that was in Las Vegas. And I asked why? The man wasn't a terrorist, but did a terrorist job. Allegedly, he saw evil from the past of his kind did to the black people, white people. Some of them were Native American, a Native American Indian. He didn't mean to hit the black folks, but did. There were innocent souls. They were all innocent souls, flesh and blood, listening and enjoying country music. People also came from other countries. Those that bought tickets, some of them stayed away because they were sick and also had no other reason. Revenge white shooting and killing black churchgoers. In return, black revenge killing white churchgoers. Sad, very sad. Putting pork meat on Muslim properties. Killing men with turbans. They aren't Muslims here in the United States of America. I might have to get a gun for protection, but I know I can't get one. Pastor Robert Holman Sr., who passed away, said, if you need a gun, shoot it. Not for revenge, protection. Yes, not eye for an eye, death. Not tooth for a tooth, death. We in the United States of America are examples for the world, universe, and beyond. President Trump was right.
Thank you, ma'am.
This is an evil thing the gunman did.
Okay, your time is up. Thank you very much. And your testimony, though, is really appropriate and gives us a moment of reflection. I was going to do it at the end of the meeting, but to certainly say that the hearts and minds of the people of Sacramento are with the victims in Las Vegas. Absolutely. I mean, the most horrific, imaginable, sick act, and look at the suffering. And all we can do is our very best to stand up for peace and nonviolence in every way possible. So thank you for reminding us. Go ahead.
Next speaker is Lola Acosta, then Pastor Gainsborough, and Roger Bryan.
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Chan, members of the City Council, it is unethical to conduct planning for 8 or 9 months and not include people who will be affected. I refer to the 2 homeless shelters proposed for North Sacramento. The 2 homeless shelters would be sited in a fragile business district near an elementary school and a daycare center. It is unethical to throw extreme mitigation measures in an effort to buy community support. Where will the taxpayer funds come from that would mitigate? Finally, poor planning on the part of the city should not harm North Sacramento neighborhoods. Please do not call us NIMBYs. Planning takes time. Take the time to do it right. Equally distribute homeless resources across the city.
Pastor Gainsborough, then Roger Bryan.
Mayor Steinberg, good to see you, and City Council. Pray you're all in good health. I hadn't thought of the proposal of shelter in all of the districts. It's quite a thought. 10% of U.S. population is in California, but 20% of the U.S. homeless. So we all know we're dealing with a crisis. And I just want to commend the council and you, Mayor Steinberg, for moving ahead on some major steps. The 1,700 housing vouchers, an additional full-time helper to Emily Halcon, who was the city's full-time, totally overloaded homeless resource coordinator. Committing to a 24/7, 365 triage center is a wonderful thought and idea that needs to be actualized. So I'm totally behind that. I was listening to the radio the other night and I heard that Los Angeles City Council was authorizing a good amount of funds to provide public restrooms because they're aware that 16 people have died in San Diego and 460 are hospitalized now. And the 5-to-1 exponential growth rate from 4 months ago has had them declare a crisis. The hepatitis A comes from the fecal matter and the public defecation on our sidewalks. So as I looked at the LA Times yesterday, it talked about commuters being afraid to sit down in the seats, to touch the rails. And so we need public restrooms. We need one right outside in Chavez Park. There is funding to do it. We're going to drop $100,000 on 2 pieces of artwork for the fire department. Let's get public restrooms opened immediately. God bless.
Speaker is Roger Bryan. Following Mr. Bryan is Ashik Asfiz.
Good evening, everyone.
Brian, how you doing?
I'm not here to point my fingers at anybody, the police department, or any council member. What I'm here about is I have some pictures. Could you pass these to the... I live in Oak Park, and granted, I didn't know. I'm sorry. Thank you. It isn't Beverly Hills, but I like Oak Park. But what I'm sick of is opening my door and looking down the street and seeing this in my street. I am sick and tired of it. I believe that a $1,000 fine is a joke. A $10,000 fine, that would wake somebody's eyes up. And you know what? I think somebody should get $5,000 for turning them in, for dumping. I don't know about you, but you know what? I know my zip code isn't 90240 Beverly Hills, but it doesn't need to be like this. This is wrong. And I would like to find out how I would do to get a bill passed that it is a $10,000 fine for dumping. Because that's the only way you can get into somebody when you get to their pocket. That hurts. That's it. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Hi, can you tell us where that is so we can get it picked up?
It's on one of the photos. Hold on 1 second.
Just give the clerk the address so that the councilman can know.
Thank you.
Next, please.
My name is Mr. Aziz. I dealt with the Franchise Tax Board like a lot of people do. Unfortunately, I'm on disability for medical reasons, but I was quite surprised by getting a $62 parking ticket, parking in handicap. When I tried to question it, I was told it was private property, so the city police officer had the right to give me a citation. My question is, a couple of them. Who gets that revenue, the landlord or the city? Because it's a city employee doing the job of a private landlord. And I've been trying to be diligent. It's taking the city so far about 8 months to respond to my questions regarding this. I'm just asking it as a general question because I know that I've been watching the media and sometimes you hear parking ticket scams. If I'm paying the money, I like to know, is the city getting the money or the private landlord? That's my general question. Because it's the same principle, you go to McDonald's, private property. That means an officer could give me a citation there. Would that money go to the property owner or to the city for conducting service?
We're going to have Fran Halbach talk to you about your specific situation to see if there was some error or some mistake, at least to get into the details so that we can, try to address your concern.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir.
The next speaker is Amy Pierce. Following Mrs. Pierce is Kristen Perry, and then Robert Coplin.
Good afternoon. I'm Amy Pierce. I'm one of the neighbors in the Woodlake area. I do have a question for you. Since the meeting last Monday, have the restrooms in the buildings here, the public buildings, have they been open to the homeless? No, for the same reason that we remain concerned about the plan. So my frustration and concern is specific to the lack of transparency and the lack of what appears to be a comprehensive plan relating to the two facilities that are currently being discussed. When we were here last Monday, you confirmed that there would be extreme mitigation that would be done to deal with these two facilities being planted into our neighborhood. Where are those funds going to come from? We've had two neighborhoods here today complaining about the garbage and the homeless in their neighborhoods, and there doesn't appear to be a solution for the existing problem, and yet we're going to create a new problem in my neighborhood or create an additional problem in my neighborhood because we already are dealing with that. One of the other concerns that I have is that these two facilities that are being proposed out in the Woodlake neighborhood you're contemplating that you're going to be transporting individuals out to these facilities. It's pretty clear to me that this is not going to reduce the number of homeless in North Sac. It really is going to be reducing the number of homeless in other districts and planting them in my own district. Because a lot of the homeless, we don't have a huge homeless population in my district at this point in time, but when you transplant from all of the other areas, it will be a significant increase, and I am concerned that it is going to be a draw as well to other homeless just because if services are being offered. What happens also, you transport these individuals to these facilities, when you're done, where are you going to transport them to? Do you bring them back down to City Hall?
Your time's up. Thank you.
Kristen Perry, and then Robert Coplin.
Hello, everyone. I know I spoke last week, and if you remember me, I'm a new resident here in Sacramento. I just wanted to share my story a little bit more. I probably looked for a home in each and every one of your districts, and we wound up in District 2 in Old North Sac, and it's actually really great there. We love it. We love the people. We love where we're at. So I'm here to just speak my mind a little bit on the homeless shelters. Again, with the research I'm doing, they just seem like they're too big, at least this one you're proposing. And I think we all agree that we want to help the homeless. I really appreciate this lady coming up earlier and saying, I've been here every day for 2 weeks, saying, what are you going to do? She's from Elk Grove. So I just wanted to speak to you again and kind of look you in the eye and say, you know, we're in this together. I want to feel inspired. I'm inspired by this, and I know you're working hard to solve it. One of my biggest concerns, though, is that I read the census in 2017 that you just did of how many homeless people there are and where they're located. So I feel like I do need reassurance that you are not relocating the homeless populations to only low-income areas. I know the other part was you've proposed on Florin, and are they going to be this big? So I feel like I'm speaking for all of our neighbors here in Dixie Ann, here in Old North Sac, here in Gardenland and Hagenwood, all these places that are just so ready to up and come. And if we don't plan this right, if we put too many large shelters in one place, it'll impact that community way too much. And we can't just put them all in low-income areas. I feel like I need reassurance that there's a future plan for Old North Sac, that we have due representation with our best interests in mind. We are homeowners, people who are homeless here, business owners, and future residents of North Sacramento want a district with a bright future. And I feel like it's very possible, and I look forward to your leadership and vision in driving us that way. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Robert Copland, then John Gay, and then Fago will be our last speaker for matters not on the agenda.
I want to know if there's going to be a homeless shelter in District 4, my district. Can you tell me that, Steve Hansen? I don't think you can. There will be? You heard that, everybody. He said there will be.
Copland, direct your comments to the entire council, not to a single member, and please calm down a little bit here. We're listening to you.
We've been here I've been here 2 years, and you have not done anything to this.
That's okay, just...
And it's about these housing vouchers. People can't they have vouchers now, and they can't use them because they can't find a place to stay. So that's a joke. And there's going to be, you've heard of Twin Rivers apartment complex. They're going to be tearing down a lot of their buildings. There's more affordable housing units down the drain. It's not, you know what? I don't think City Council is doing a good job. And I use a football metaphor, get another playbook, because the one you've got is not working.
Thank you.
I'm not done yet.
Oh, okay. That's your word.
It's up to groups like Sacramento Tenants Union to solve the problem, because Sacramento Steps Board is not doing the job. It's a new tenants union that's born up this year to help for rent control, get people in apartment complexes, which will benefit everybody in all districts. You're just starting to make me mad now. Because I think this city council is a joke. A literally joke. How about homeless shelter 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? When are you going to have a plan for all that? Come up with one every district, and then we'll be satisfied. I want to work with both sides to get the job done. Why did you let this get so bad in Sacramento? You should be ashamed of yourself.
John Gay, and then our last speaker is Fago.
I'm almost scared to follow that. But that other guy brought a Bible with him, so I'm kind of reminded of 1 Corinthians chapter 12, I think it is. It says something about there are different gifts, but the same Spirit. And I hear people talking about my neighborhood and my district. Why can't we just talk about my city? My city. We are one city. We are different areas. We are different colors. We are different genders. We are different everythings. But we're one city, and if we start thinking and acting like that, and yeah, let's get, instead of one shelter in every district, let's get 10,000 low-rent apartments. You know, and then nobody's going to complain about homeless people living in their backyards or using their parks because they can be in their apartments. Nobody wants to be in the alleys that smell like urine. They would like to be in a nice apartment with air conditioning and cable and all that good stuff. But that's not why I'm here today. But I'm part of the city, and this is going on in the city. The reason I'm here is why I was here last week. And since I was here last week, 59 people have been killed in one incident. And we mourn that, and we make big shows of that, and we do truly grieve that. But let's go back in time. How long did it take police to shoot unarmed people? I'm not talking about criminals committing crimes. I'm talking about unarmed taxpayers being shot by tax dollar recipients. So let's have a day of mourning for those people, and let's get a clock ticking right now. And I'll come back week to week and tell you how many that, and y'all can help me keep track. Let's find out from this day forward, how long will it take for 59 innocent, unarmed people to be shot by police?
Thank you for testifying.
Last speaker is Fago for items not on the agenda.
Hello, Council. Couple things. For one, I think we should definitely move forward with the current plan on the shelter while getting other shelters in every other district as soon as possible. I'm actually going to be working on a ballot initiative that might just be for all the voters of the city to be able to vote on that kind of a thing, once I find the right person to help me write the language properly. But also, I feel the need to once again address the restroom situation all throughout the city. I don't know how well you've been following the hepatitis A outbreak. There was over 400 people contaminated, or that came down with it, hospitalized in San Diego alone, not to mention Los Angeles, Santa Cruz, and I think there was one other city I can't remember at this point. And then finding out that there's an average of 6 cases in Sacramento already per year. That's a per year. It's not a big deal yet. Those are all contained. But the symptoms, or the thing that's causing it to spread, oh, mind you, in San Diego, only 69 of those people were homeless. The rest of those 400 people were people that were in homes, people that had no contact with the homeless. So it is a big deal. This is a total public health and safety issue for the entire city and every resident of Sacramento if we don't resolve this. And what it is the lack of bathrooms and sanitation with a growing homeless population. All it takes, because it takes up to 8 weeks for you to even realize you have it, and you can spread it the entire time, is one person to get sick out on the streets and not realize they have it, not be able to wash their hands or use the bathroom appropriately. And the entire city could be getting sick with hepatitis A. There's already 17 people dead. Yesterday, we went out and handed out hand sanitizer. It's not enough. It's a drop in the bucket for trying to do some prevention. The only real prevention is a combination between the vaccines, but people get sick with that too, and restrooms, and washing your hands with soap and water. So let's please make sure that happens soon everywhere in this city, because I don't want to see anybody going through the pain that is. Thank you
so much, Mr. Clark. All right, that is the testimony for items not on the agenda. I do want to, since a number of the good folks from Woodlake came out again, I do want to just clarify and update one thing. It's not an action item, it's just pure information. Remember, we are not talking about 2 facilities that would be located at the same time. One is a winter triage center, and then once that shuts down, we contemplate the potential of a longer-term triage center at a different location. On the one on Railroad Avenue, which is across the tracks from the Woodlake neighborhood and in a very secluded area, this is what I want to tell you, because maybe this wasn't clear enough. That property we're talking about is owned by a private property owner. They have plans to use that property long-term for a different purpose. So we are going to make public, once it's signed and executed, the contract that we are going to have with that private property owner that will guarantee to the residents that that winter triage shelter off of Railroad Avenue will be by definition temporary. I think there's some confusion about that, and I want to make sure that that is clear to everybody, that will be temporary and will make it enforceable, if you will, by virtue of the lease, and then we'll back it up with our own letter that is consistent with the lease. I just wanted to say that. Thank you. Let's move on. We do have one presentation tonight. It's Councilmember Guetta, I believe, Manufacturing Awareness and Appreciation Month. Council member.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. If I could ask Tracy Shaw, Executive Director of the Parent Alliance, Clarice Thurman from Procter & Gamble. I know Tim Linder from HB Hood couldn't be here today, but I want to recognize him. And also our recent awardees from Making Your Mark, a way to help our local startup manufacturers, Sean Ramos, Ian McKern, and Jim Herberling. Sorry if I mispronounced those names. If they could all please come up to the podium here.
Welcome.
You know, Mr. Mayor, it's as proud constituent of District 6, and I'm sure you remember these days, it's a great day to recognize National Manufacturing Awareness Day and also National Manufacturing Awareness Month. And what's interesting about this is that District 6 and the city of Sacramento specifically is the hub of manufacturing for the greater Sacramento region. That encompasses about six counties overall in this area. And Manufacturing Day is a day that we take to discuss, you know, what the true realities of manufacturing is. It's not the old thought of somebody just working in a warehouse or whatnot. Manufacturing has evolved in many different ways, producing so many jobs. In Sacramento alone, this little area in our city produces over 30,000 jobs. But more importantly, it puts out about $2.9 billion in labor income. And when we discuss these issues we're talking about right now the issue of homelessness, the issue in the future in our agenda, we're going to talk about youth services. We're going to talk about our parks later. We talked about our overall budget earlier today and infrastructure. And all of these things to run our city. It can't happen if we don't have that tax revenue and the employment in our city. And a lot of it's produced here by our manufacturers. So for me, it's a great day to recognize this group of folks for Manufacturing Day. And if we could all give a big round of applause for the recipient here, Tracy Shaw from the Parent Alliance Executive Director. Welcome to Sacramento here. Big round of applause.
Welcome. Tracy?
Thank you, Mayor Steinberg, and a special thank you to Councilmember Guerra for recognizing the importance of manufacturing in our city and our region. So on behalf of the businesses that we represent, I'm pleased to be here tonight. So as Eric mentioned, Jim is one of our Making Your Mark, the micro manufacturing contest finalists, and then as is Ian. We're going to be doing the announcement on Friday, October 6th, in terms of who the winner will be. And then Clarice Thurman is the leadership team with Procter & Gamble, a very long-time ardent supporter and employer in the district, as well as Laura Fickle, our Director of Business Development, and then Sean Ramos, one of our finalists. So very pleased to represent the manufacturing community, and thank you for recognizing the importance that we play in the overall economy of the city.
Great, thank you. And if you mind just giving a quick, just for the people who are watching on TV and here, what Making Your Mark is about and why it's so special to Sacramento.
Absolutely. It's the inaugural year for the micro manufacturing contest, where we put together a group of prizes, about $50,000, and we're going to be working with one of the three finalists that you see behind us to help them locate and set up their facility in D6.
Fantastic.
That's terrific.
Let's give a round of applause for these new businesses and startups here for our area, Sacramento. And again, and our largest employer in the area, one of our largest employers, Clarice. Any comments from Procter & Gamble?
Happy to be here to represent them and to be a part of the manufacturing area and a part of the Power In Business Alliance.
Fantastic. Give them a big round of applause. I love the short comments.
Thank you.
And we'll go down here. Mr. Mayor, can you join
Yes. Honor my old district, you better believe it.
Didn't you help start? Who wants to hold this? Here we go. Get you in the middle here. Mr. Mayor will get you on one side here. Let's get another short person up here. Laura, come on. Here you go. Thanks, Eric. I'm actually going to mention that real quick.
What's that?
So I failed to mention that one of the persons who helped start the Power and Alliance and get this going was our own mayor when he was council member there. So big round of applause for our awardee from Power and Alliance, and thank you again, Mr. Mayor. Big round of applause for that.
Great to see. It's great to see how far it has all come. Thank you very much, Councilmember Guerra, for keeping the tradition alive. Let's move on to file item 15. File item 15. This, Chan, are you going to present on this one? This is the authorization to hire temporary staff aide. Who do we have on that one? Oh, we have a consent calendar first. Never mind. Okay. Are there any questions from members on the consent calendar? Well, we do have a couple speakers, but I see no questions from members at this point, so let's take the few speakers that we have.
Okay, the first speaker is Pastor Gainsborough, then Michael Voy.
Okay. This is on the consent calendar.
These are both on items, the first one is on item 5, the second is on 5 and 6. Pastor Gainsborough, I don't see him in the room.
Okay.
Michael Voy.
He made the point anyways about fire art and the connection and the money spent for the homeless.
So Michael Voy is speaking on items 5 and 6.
Okay, Mr. Voy.
Really, I just kind of have a question and maybe kind of a request or it's more procedural.
Go ahead.
I'm not opposed to contributing to the arts and to the fire, arts and that sort of thing. But I noticed that these are fairly substantial amounts of money to one individual, not in the overall scheme of the budget of the city, but there are a lot of people in the city that work and don't make that much money in a whole year that's being awarded under these contracts. And I don't know what kind of artwork it is. But my real question is, how were these individuals selected? Was it announced? Was there a competition for it? Or was this just privately arranged or negotiated? I don't really know how that all came about. And I try to keep track of things that go on in the city.
Yeah,
So
no,
that's
it's a fair question. Why don't we try to answer it for you? It's a reasonable question. How is the artwork and the artist selected? Can somebody from the city team answer that question, please?
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, council members. We have a very rigorous process that we follow in selecting artists for public art projects. The budget is set at 2% of the construction, and then based on the construction budget, we send out a call to artists. We usually send it out nationally. We had at least 50 artists who submitted their applications and qualifications for both of the fire stations. Then we had a panel, and the panel consisted of members of the community. We had a representative from the fire department. We had arts professionals. So based on the input from the panel, both the artists for Fire Station 14 and 15 were selected, and now we're going through the contract process. Both of those artists are going to work very rigorously with the fire department and other community stakeholders.
Okay, thank you very much for answering that question. And gentlemen may have further questions, so there's your, what's her name? Diane Kripe is our city staff member. Mr. Roy, if you want to talk to her, I'm sure she'd be happy to answer any of your further questions. Go ahead.
I have two speakers on item 7, Kazman Zadi and Bahan Barani.
Good evening, Mayor and all the council members. My name is Pajan Bariana, and I drive a taxi cab in the city of Sacramento for the last 13 years. I have two topics today for submission. Number one is that all the taxi drivers, they are subjected to a English test, computer and written every year. Actually, we propose the test should be conducted for all the taxi drivers for efficient English, but not every year. It is conducted every year now for all the drivers, which I think it is Not necessarily. No department conducts a test every year, like DMV issues the license after testing only once. And we are tested every year for getting a driver's permit. I feel it is not necessarily. If some driver is not a good driver, he can be retested or he can be reprimanded, whatever, but unless drivers are good, they should not be subjected to the test every year.
Let's take one at a time here, because you raise two issues. Can somebody answer, what is the city requirement in terms of written test, and is there a language requirement? That seems, and I'm new, so.
May I join?
I'm going to ask the staff to just
Yes, sir.
briefly elaborate on what the requirement is, please.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Daphne Goche. I'm the Business Permit Manager in the Finance Department. And they do have a taxi knowledge test that is given to all the taxi drivers. It's given in English, and it's basically a test that was established by the TLPA, which is the Taxi Limousine Paratransit Association. They are nationally known to help the taxi industry, and we utilize their test for the taxi drivers so they can be able to learn what it takes to become a taxi driver. One of the things that we found that when we were not giving the test, many drivers were coming in and telling us that they were being told to come in and drive a taxi, you're going to make a lot of money. And that's really not the case. And they were told other things, so we put together the test so they could be able to understand what they were getting into and if they decided to drive a test or not.
Okay, and is there an accommodation given for different languages, for example, if for applicants who don't speak English as a first language? We don't have an English-only requirement, do we, in the city?
Go ahead. If I heard you, is it given in different languages? Was that the question?
Yes. Really? Hold on. This has been debated. Okay. Go ahead, why don't you finish the testimony? Go ahead, finish the testimony.
Yes, sir, we have no problem with the test, but not every year. Once I pass the test, I should be finished. Means my permit should be forever like a driver license unless I misbehave. Or I have a lot of complaints about driving a taxi. I don't know why I'm subjected to a test every year.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, point of order. What's on the agenda is the lottery procedure, but not the requirements and regulations related to taxi cabs. We did have a very vigorous debate several years ago about this and took many of the concerns to heart and adopted them as part of that, but what they're asking for is not on our agenda tonight.
Okay, so nothing that the council is being asked to do tonight could either change what you're against or further what you're against. It's not on point, so maybe what we ought to do is have, I know you gentlemen, maybe you ought to meet with my executive staff, because this is new to me. I was not on the council time, but we can meet and talk about this so that I can be fully informed, and then I can maybe, raise whatever issues I might think are appropriate. But tonight's not the night, because this isn't on the agenda in this way tonight.
The only one question I have.
Yeah.
I met with your staff members, and they advised me to meet with the city officials. So I met with them about 6 months ago, and we explained them about this situation.
Okay.
This is a computer test for 3 hours. And cab driver from another country, they don't have education background, and these people, we request them, we
I'll tell you
meet
what,
them,
we
and
know
they are
each
not
other.
listening at all.
I'm going to look into this myself off the agenda here, and we'll get back to you. Okay?
I appreciate
I'll ask
it.
my staff tomorrow to remind me so that we can
Thank you
dig
very
into this question of an annual test versus a test every several years. Then we'll get
Can you
back to you.
explain the next point also about the taxis?
No, we're done. About the older cars as well. I got that in your letter. I'll look at that as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you,
Okay.
Council.
Thank you very much.
No more speaker
Okay.
slips.
No more speaker slips. Okay, can I get a motion on the consent calendar? Did you have a question, Councilmember Guetta?
No, I was just going to.
Oh.
I was just going to make the motion and also thank our our public works staff that worked on on item number 9 with the funding for improvements. And I know Folsom Boulevard used to be a state highway, and we did the relinquishing process there. So thank you for all that great work, and I'll move the item.
Okay. Consent calendar has been moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, abstained. Thank you very much. And I'll get back to you, gentlemen, okay? I'd like to ask Shelley Banks Robinson, the acting HR director, to please come forward now on file item 15.
Thank you. Good evening.
Been moved and seconded. All right. This is, I'll just make your job a little easier here.
Thank you very much.
This is, again, one of these retired annuitants. I've heard of the guy before, I forget his name. John Dangberg, who is going to come back and continue to help our city, and it's perfectly legitimate, approved by CalPERS under the law. Same thing we did with my current Chief of Staff, Mike McKeever. Time limited and hours limited, but we want to continue to have the expertise and the work of John Dangberg as we transition to a new economic development function, an assistant city manager, et cetera, within our city.
Thank you.
Excellent presentation.
Thank you.
Okay. Moved and seconded.
Councilmember Ashby seconded.
Councilmember Ashby seconded it. Okay, is there any public testimony on this?
There are no speakers.
There is not. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, abstained. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you. File item 16 here, which is investing in Sacramento's youth. All in favor, please say. No. We do 11 speakers.
That was good.
Go ahead.
Well, good evening, Mayor Steinberg, members of City Council. My name is Jerry Way with the City Manager's Office, and Investing in Sacramento's Youth is the title of this receive and report tonight. In February of this year, Council provided our City Manager very clear direction on strengthening our city's youth programs and services by adopting a citywide youth development framework and considering a new youth development department. In April, just a couple of months later, Council heard the City Manager's update on the plan for moving toward a new youth development department and a robust youth development program. This evening, we are pleased to share the results of our planning efforts thus far. Council direction was to strengthen services for Sacramento's children and youth through a strong alignment across all programs and focus on quality, which will, in turn, increase program participants' chances of success in school, career, and life. A planning team was assembled as directed by this council, which included this list of important members to collaborate on the new youth development framework. This is the planning team list of 13 participants that includes 6 community-based organization leaders, 5 city management staff, 2 youth commissioners, and a city consultant named Claudia Jason. Why Claudia Jason? Well, Claudia has worked in nonprofits for over 27 years, advocating for immigrants and refugees early in her career, and youth-serving agencies more recently. She worked for 17 years in an organization providing after-school and summer programs in San Francisco's Mission District, and with 10 of those years as executive director. During her tenure, the organization went from serving 500 youth to over 1,000 and was recognized multiple times for the quality and impact of its programs, including the prestigious Bank of America Neighborhood Builder Award and designation as an anchor institution by the San Francisco Department of Children, Youth, and their Families. Claudia served as a member of Mayor Gavin Newsom's Policy Council on Children and Youth, and she was a leader in the development of U.S. Department of Education Promise Neighborhood Grant that was awarded to the Mission District in 2012. And she happens to be one of the best facilitators and expert in her field that I've had the pleasure to work with.
Mr. Way, just a real quick here. Is it appropriate that we take 16 and 17 together because they're related, right? Sequential. Okay.
Did
Did I answer that
Yeah.
well enough for you? Thank you. In addition to the efforts of the planning team, which we just introduced in the last slide, over 130 community-based organizations were invited to take part in our working group. This list reflects the 29 partners that participated citywide, some of which are present here this evening. On May 13th, a town hall was held where over 48 youth joined 39 adult allies and our very own Mayor Steinberg and Councilmember Chenier to discuss youth development specifically. The participation was high and the results were included in our work product this evening. You can see some percentages on the makeup of the audience we had at the town hall in May. In summary, 7 planning team meetings were held over a 3-month period. 4 community-based organization working group meetings were also held over the same period, and 2 joint meetings were conducted with both the planning team and the working group. If I could, Madam Clerk, can I get the use of the overhead? Thank you. You all, I just handed this out. It was also part of your packet, but I wanted you to have this color version, which I think is pretty well designed. Our youth helped us design this. All of our efforts going back to February of this year have led to this plan and framework. This document represents the final citywide youth development framework that was developed and supported by all participants to the planning process. This first important phase of work includes a vision, mission, values, and goals for youth development moving forward. I just want to take a moment to read out loud just the vision statement that this collaboration has led to. All Sacramento children and youth are valued and reach their fullest potential. So this entire page includes all those basic strategic planning items that you would consider. Now let's turn the page over. And this is in your handout and in your packet. Sorry, these colors are tough to read all the way. So what is a framework? Framework is a basic conceptual structure underlying a system, program, and approach. This particular page reflects the framework that we've come up with as a collaboration. Today is not about discussing specific programs, but where we are headed. And again, I want to read from this particular document. The proposed framework: when designing, implementing, and evaluating its children and youth programs, the City of Sacramento will strive to offer all young people the highest quality youth development experiences. To ensure these experiences result in positive outcomes, the city will provide youth and research-based supports and opportunities that integrate a set of social justice principles, aligning with the city's core values, into staff, program delivery, and organizational institutional practices. Okay, thank you, Madam Clerk. So what are the results? Develop a vision, mission, values, goals, and a framework for design, operation, and evaluation of city's children and youth programs. And what's next? Develop objectives and performance metrics with planning team and community-based organization working group. Evaluate if our current programs meet these goals of being the highest quality, or are there gaps to address. And hold second youth town hall in North Sacramento on Saturday, October 14th. Certainly there remains much work to be done. But tonight we ask for your feedback and support. In summary, the work that has been done is to ensure that the city has a youth development framework that is effective, consistent citywide, and achieves the goal of strengthening services for Sacramento's children and young people. I want to please ask if I can have some amazing folks that are here tonight, our cadets, magnet school young people, and other young people that are in youth programs, to please stand up and be acknowledged for your support here tonight. Go ahead, please stand up. Indeed. When I started on this adventure for the city manager, he asked me to lead this effort to move the needle on this youth development framework, and how are we going to not just roll out a basketball and check a box and say, hey, we're developing our youth here in Sacramento. But this is going to lead, with all of our community-based organizations participating in our outcomes and our metrics, continuing the work that we've set about tonight. We want to truly move the needle on making the city of Sacramento the place where our youth are valued and invested in. So I will conclude my presentation and let you know that I'm here to answer any questions you have. Claudia Jason, of course, is here, and Howard Chan, our city manager. So thank you.
Very good. Thank you very much. Okay, let's hear the public testimony on this item.
I have 11 speakers on this item. The first one is Kendra Harris, and then Belen Flores.
Good evening. My name is Kendra Harris, and I'm Public Affairs Officer with Child Action, Inc. Thank you for having me, Mr. Mayor, City Council. Child Action is a nonprofit organization. We provide for the education and social welfare of children and families by organizing, sponsoring, and administrating services to children. We provide child care resource and referral for Sacramento County, child care subsidies, recruitment and training of child care professionals, and of course, parent education and family support. Our major goal as an organization is to promote the healthy growth and development of children and families living in Sacramento County. So we're really excited that the city is taking some leadership and supporting youth and their development, and we'd like to support this proposal and ultimately be a partner and a resource for you. So thank you.
And next speaker is Belen Flores, and then Jakira Laird. We have Belen, Jakira Laird, Shabri Harris,
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jakar Land. I just wanted to let you guys know my personal experience with the 1,000 Strong program that Mayor Steinberg has given me was a great experience for my life and changed everyone's and the youth to really get out there and make a difference for themselves. And I just want to thank you for that. And the job I really had, California Capital Air Show, they really taught me a lot through communication, working with other people, society, the community, reaching out to them and telling them how things go, and to really learn more for my future and to get me through the military, working with me through everything. And through that internship with the air show, they gave me another job opportunity after my internship there at the UPS down there on Mather. And this one, I really just thank them for really helping me to get through it. And just do this, I just want to like make more of a profit for nonprofits, funding for them and everything. And helping the youth get organized and everything, reaching out through their futures and to getting their goals and setting their goals for them. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Glad you're great experience.
Next speaker is Shabri Harris, and then Calissa Rollins.
Hello, my name is Shabri Harris, and I'm a senior at Sacramento Charter High School. I'm a part of a group called PAR, which stands for Participatory Action Research, and we're basically a group of dedicated young students with the common goal of bettering our community not only for ourselves, but for the people we love and for future generations. We aim to help reduce the African American child death rate by 10 to 20% by the year of 2020. It's going to take you, the politicians, our communities, and most importantly, youth themselves. Many people complain about issues and what's wrong with the youth in society, but no one talks about solutions and ways to change. No one asks what we think. With PAR, we do it all. We learn things about ourselves, critically discuss issues looking at various perspectives, research reasons why things are happening, analyze our findings, and then ultimately deciding to take action to make things better. Youth are important, our opinions are important, our voices are important, our energy is important, and our role is important in helping to make true change in the community. Thank you for your time.
Next speaker is Calissa Rollins, and then Talia Tillman.
Hi, my name is Calissa Rollins. I'm also a senior at Sac High. We all know there's a huge problem with the black race losing their lives due to violence. You know it, the community knows it, the organizations know it, as well as the youth, and we have to live it. In fact, I had to encounter an unthinkable experience involving violence last week when my dear friend Tamir was shot and left dead on the street. Tamir was only 15. Someone's son, someone's brother, someone's best friend, and someone we have to do better for. We fail to realize how much these sort of things happen in our community. Kids dying from violence are only one of the 4 main reasons of why our black children are dying. Participating in the Black Child Legacy campaign with the Greater Sacramento Urban League has taught me this. I didn't even know the reasons why my fellow brothers and sisters are dying around me and feeling like I can't help. Working with my peers from Oak Park has me feeling and believing that it only takes one person and one action to change the world. In our meetings, we have deep discussions on the social norms and how we can speak out and take action on dealing with these problems. This internship has felt more than a home to me, and I can't wait to further my work in the community. When youth feel included, valued, and heard, we not only start to believe that we are the future, but know that we can make all the difference now. Thank you.
Talia Tillman, and then Belen Flores, and then Noel Mora.
Good evening. My name is Talia Tillman, and I too am a Sac High senior. I've seen the strides in youth development as well as the cracks where some of my peers have slipped in. Specific to Oak Park and my surrounding community, there are many resources available and programs that are set for the youth's future. From College Track to Greater Sacramento Urban League to the 1,000 Strong campaign, selected students are able to thrive and grow into successful young adults. And these programs are producing results by no question. However, these are the selected students, one that go through numerous interviews or ones with existing networks. I hope to push outreach and accessibility for all, because let's face it, the youth who thrive academically and are able to easily travel across the city for an interview or attend a meeting aren't the ones necessarily at risk. I acknowledge and commend the youth development programs that are in place as they have shaped me into a 17-year-old girl who can speak up here. But these organizations need more, and we need more. We need an even broader array of youth that this new development will serve, to include the haves as well as the have-nots, to spread awareness that these programs exist, and to not only focus on the youth that are bound to succeed, to try to fill in the gaps between the ones that excel and the ones that are ignored, because I'm tired of seeing my peers fall through the cracks when they deserve as much as a chance as I do. Thank you.
We have Belen Flores. No. The next speaker is Noel Mora, and then Ray Green. Noel? Ray Green?
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Vice Mayor, Council. I'm standing in place for Roberts Family Development Center on behalf of myself and Daryl Roberts. We want to say thank you for moving in this direction. We also want to say that we had a great time being a part of each part of the process, even the Youth Town Hall. It's important that we raise youth voice, and I want to say thank you for thinking about restructuring and creating the Youth Development Division within the department. But as we know, this is one step of many. We want to continue advocating that there are made ways of restructuring for funding for youth in this city, as well as community-based organizations so that we can do the work that we've always done, which is support our youth. We think that restructuring and looking at Measure U or Measure Y are going to be critical in making sure that we provide the opportunity to have innovation. We already said that status quo within programs and even the structure is not enough. So we want to make sure that we think about and advocate restructuring funds so that we can better our community, better our youth, and most of all, better our legacy. I am a part of Black Child Legacy as well, and I just want to shout out to the youth who spoke so eloquently, sharing their stories. And I want to thank you for the opportunity to continue making strides for our youth. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Jaquez Cosby, and then Crystal Tonga, and then Francine Jozalski. Do we have Jaquez? Mr. Cosby?
Hello, my name is Jaquez Cosby. I attend Rosemont High School, and I'm a sophomore. I just recently moved here from Detroit, Michigan, and I have some thoughts for investing our young men of color. I know 3 things about people who look like me. Our opportunities are not high, public opinion of us is thought very low of, and our interests are only what the media has portrayed of us. For example, today a lot of our men's leadership group was about to start, and a lot of our young men of color want to go and be ballers and stuff like that. And I'm not saying there's wrong with that, but I want them to differentiate themselves from society and the stereotype. Ever since I've joined MLA, since I've got to Sacramento, the only people who are interested in are me and my friend Xantavius, out of hundreds of men at Rosemont High School, young men. They don't realize the opportunities, and it's kind of saddening. There are other things to be in this world. I want to get them out of the cycle because especially young men like me occupy a large percentage of these prisons in America, and I wish we had like a figure or something to look up to. There are figures and programs, and there are men that we can look up to in Sacramento, like Marcus Strother, Dre T, Dwight Taylor, and PJ, and people like that. But I want something to reel them in and be a real leader. Like, for example, like on the news stations, you guys portray like DeMarcus Cousins, but there's nothing wrong with the DeMarcus Cousins. I like DeMarcus Cousins, he's cool. But there's other things to be out there in this planet, and I just want somebody to like portray something on the television or something to show that there's more than what the media just portrays. And people do know about this, like the Men's Leadership Academy, but like I said before, knowledge itself isn't power, but applied knowledge is power. And if we could apply our young men of color the values of different opportunities and enlightenment, we could probably change the way the world look at us and the world thinks about us. Thank you.
Thank you. And welcome again to Sacramento.
The next speaker is Crystal Tonga, and then Francine Jozalowski.
Who's a little taller. Thank you for this opportunity. I wanted to, on behalf of the Alliance for Education Solutions, promote and support this initiative and this campaign plan. I think in addition to that, it's also about recognizing that youth voice, and we know that youth are our future, and that's kind of a given. And so one of the things that I would encourage you to think about today is not just the youth that got a chance to speak up today, but to take action. A lot of times there is intention behind great plans and philosophies like these, but we know that the intention and the impact are very different. And so it's an opportunity to say, now here is our direction. How do we move it from direction to action, and from action into implementation, to say that impact matters. That impact of saying we can reach those kids who are not college bound, who are not in the traditional success programs, who are not part of Associated Students student body, who are not those typical successful students. Those are the students we really need to meet. And part of that is recognizing that in addition to this direction, what I would like to encourage you to think about is to set a date to vote on this. I know it is a discussion item today, and so we hope that from intention to impact comes action, and that we are able to put that action. My name is Crystal Tonga. I'm part of the Alliance for Education Solutions. We were integral part of working with Claudia to host the first youth town hall, and we will be a part of hosting October 14th to bring that youth voice, and we know that youth voice matters. What we need from you all is an opportunity to say, where do you stand, and to put action and decision and funding and prioritizing this campaign to say, now that we see what's been developed, now that we have CBOs in, how do we move it now to an action item? Thank you.
Next speaker is Francine Joselowski, and then our final speaker is Zelia Gonzalez.
Mayor, City Council, I'm here today to speak on behalf of the Sacramento Youth Alliance Community Action Team. Unfortunately, a lot of the young people that we work very closely with were not able to be here tonight. It is an initiative of the Alliance for Education Solutions. We were part of the CBO group that helped to create the framework. We also helped create the town hall. And I'm going to speak from a personal point of view because I have worked on youth development issues nationally for the last 15 to 20 years, and it is so exciting to be part of this process in Sacramento at a time in our country when the climate is so negative, when we're not talking about investment, but we're talking about divestment, where we're not prioritizing our youth and talking about issues of equity and talking about engaging young people and empowering them and giving them agency so they can take control of their own futures. In Sacramento, we are starting to do that, and it is incredibly exciting. And this framework that you have in front of you today that explicitly talks about equity, that you're not shying away from it, that explicitly gives young people, and particularly young people who are most marginalized and young people of color, an opportunity to have a voice, is an incredibly important document that can help create a precedent for the kind of city that you want Sacramento to be a part of. And I support what Crystal said today. We would love to see you take action on it. The conversations have been great, but we want to know that the city is really committed to this and that young people are going to have an avenue from now until they are adults to have an ongoing dialogue with the political leaders in the city to say, what is the kind of city that we want to grow up in? What is the kind of city that we want to inherit when we become leaders today? And as you have heard from the young people in the audience today, they have a lot of ideas, they have a lot of passion, and they need the opportunity to have those conversations with adults and adults to truly listen to them. We're very good at telling them what we want them to do. We're very good at giving them parameters and giving them rules. We're not very good at listening to them and to engage with them. And so I encourage you to really read the document for those of you that haven't. There was an enormous amount of thought and effort that went into this document, and I think an enormous stakeholder group was engaged. And you have an opportunity here to really put Sacramento on the map as one of the cities that are doing something different during this political climate. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Zelia Gonzalez is our last speaker for item 16.
Good afternoon. My name is Zelia Gonzalez. I have the pleasure of knowing many of you personally from my time at Jay Schneer's office. But what you may not know is that I come from Oak Park, from a low socioeconomic family, and I would definitely be on a different path today if it wasn't for adult investment in my education and my future. And what that looked like was leadership opportunities and internships. For me, that's what set me apart from my peers and what gave me a different trajectory and responsibility for my community. So it came through a lot of the community organizations that a campaign like this would fund, and I'm just proof that that works, and I'd really like to see that offered to my peers who haven't had those doors open for them yet. Thank you.
Thank you. You have a couple council members. Thank you very much for the testimony. It's always important and compelling to hear from the youth, plain and simple. Councilmember Guerra.
Thank you very much, Vice Mayor. Mr. Mayor. Yeah. And I want to thank the Vice Mayor.
You know what? Vice is okay too.
Yeah.
depending on the day.
I do want to thank the vice mayor, though, because the vice mayor actually, I want to say, when I first came on the council, he reached out to me about, what can we do about youth, and I've had the pleasure of working also with my colleague, Councilmember Chenier, here at the statewide level on what do we do about investing in our youth, and from a statewide perspective. But, one, thank you to the city staff for taking so much time and everyone who's been involved, all the players and partners who've been involved in putting this together. I know for myself that there were those that I grew up around me who fell through the cracks. And it was through luck and intervention that I had an opportunity to look at something and be something different, and to then change that trajectory for my younger brother and sister and my younger cousins who probably would have been in that same boat as those friends around me that in that situation. I think what's important here when we look at this value statement is the start off that it's bringing in the youth component and having the youth be engaged and take ownership and feel like they have that sense of the ability to change their direction. And I think that's the life-changing difference, because I knew when I felt that I was part of my own future trajectory, that's when everything seemed real. Just not too long ago and throughout the last couple of years, there's been, within a quarter mile of my house, of my parents' house, we've had a number of teen deaths through gun violence, through, some of these shootings. And that's been a tragedy to see how so many young people have been suffering from that. Only a couple weeks ago, just down the street from my house, just down the street from your old house, Mr. Mayor, there we had another young kid who died from a gunshot wound. To me, that tells us that this is an imperative that we have to move on now. The fact that we're looking at this youth program, it is an economic imperative for the future of our city. If we're not investing in our own future youth, we're not investing in our own future city. And the fact that Mr. Way, you mentioned that we have to think more about than just rolling out a basketball. That I think, sports and athletic and everything we do to provide a safe place for kids is great, but we have to start thinking about it in a bigger way where we engage recreation as part of career development, as part of future life, and part of leadership development, as you heard from these kids. And that's a critical point that we're hearing from youth today. But then there are some youth who don't have that strong voice. And I think the first bullet point here on the goals is to looking at the age of children 0 to 5. There are some families, and I was one of those families, and I know some of those families, who don't have those resources at 0 to 5 to be around enrichment opportunities. They don't have the ability to have childcare. They don't have the ability to be in, say, a Montessori school or have another parent. So then that impacts parents also economic opportunities to go to work. And in today's household, sometimes you have to have 2 people in the household to go to work. So what happens to the children? What are the safe places for children to have a good education, pedagogy, and be prepared when they enter kindergarten and schoolwork? The fact that in one of our goals we put 0 to 5 is a huge change, because 2 years ago, my first day on the council, we were talking about eliminating 4th R and START as a budget item. And the fact that we moved on to that to say, this is a priority for our city, it's critical. And Mr. Mayor, I know you started START and did the 4th R programs, and those have been key pieces. So for me, I think this is a good component, that it's a part of a plan. And we have to think about, how do we look at 4th R? How do we look at START? How do we also look at expanding other child care out there and helping folks who want a safe place for their kids to be prepared, because we do have a 2-income workforce. So it's not only a moral issue about who are we raising, how are we raising our children, how are we empowering them, but also how are we helping those families have the ability to go to work and be a dual-income family. So staff, Mr. Mayor, council members, I appreciate all the work that's been done in this, and most importantly, I want to thank all the youth out here who came out here today and participated in this effort, because you are changing the lives of your younger brothers, cousins, siblings, and friends. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Councilman Guerra. Councilmember Hanson.
Thank you, Virtue Mayor. We have a Vice Mayor, and now we have a Virtue Mayor. I hope Mr. Jennings takes that to heart. I want to speak first from my own experience as a kid whose parents divorced young. My older brother had autism, and neither of my parents went to college. If you just take those basic demographics and then layer over it some of my family experiences, I shouldn't be here. But I am here, and it's because of a lot of people who cared about me that didn't have to. We had programs where I grew up, like the ones we're talking about, and those inspired me to do more with my life than the people around me knew that I could. And I think that what we're doing here, and I want to thank Councilmember Chenier, is trying to share in that opportunity for the children and youth of our city, because that's certainly the right thing for us to do. So I want to thank as well our staff who work so hard on this, and all of the stakeholders. When we talk about equity, to me that's the experiences I've seen working with the Roberts Family Center over at Leotata Floyd through the Freedom School programs and the College Bound Babies. When we have the opportunity to invest in those kids, those youth, we see them blossom and we see them grow. And Mr. Green has been a big part of what's going on there, in addition to Daryl and Tina. So I know that this works. I believe that this is the right thing to do. But I also want to say, as youth-led, that's the right way for us to approach it. And a lot of what's before us is very much the voice of the youth that I've heard from as well. But there is a part of it that I think is slightly missing, and I'd encourage the staff to continue, especially in this next town hall. What's the role of resiliency? You know, one of the big pieces missing from here is, what do you do with obstacles in front of you that seem insurmountable? When it's easier to give up than to keep fighting. And I know that a lot of our youth, particularly when it comes to equity, and I'm also, when I speak of equity, talking about our LGBT youth, who often don't get the same voice in some of these situations. But what are we doing to build that resiliency, that perseverance, that grit, so that in the face of obstacles and challenges, they know they have the skills, because it comes from within, to overcome them. And I think that very much so the values and the goals here are important, but I just feel like that piece is missing, because if we don't build in the resiliency and the perseverance through their own experience, then we may not set them up for the course of their lives to know. Like when I decided to run for office, I was in a good place in my life, but many people told me I would fail. Many people told me I could not win. And if I had listened to them, guess what? I would have failed and I would not have won. Instead, I won by like 43 votes out of 32,000, 143 votes out of 32,000, because we fought really hard, because we believed that it was possible. And what I hope we come away with at the end of this process is instilling into our youth the idea they can be and do whatever they choose to be or do, and that there will be obstacles, there will be challenges, but invest in them the opportunities and skills to overcome those. And I think we will have left our city much better off for generations to come if we can do that.
Very good. Thank you very much. I love the personal here. It makes it meaningful. Vice Mayor Jennings.
Thank you, Mayor. I really missed the kids that were here earlier that had to leave. And I know sometimes our meetings go long and they've got to get ready to go to school the next day. But I thought there was an incredible representation of youth here today that are still here and those that were here before. And I want to give them all a big round of applause, if you will. I also want to acknowledge all those who are in the audience who every single day work with our youth and who are incredible examples of working with our youth and changing our youth and helping our youth to develop to their maximum potential. If you're in the audience and you work with youth, would you please stand for a minute, please, just for a minute. Every last one of us can tell you of a person in our lives that helped make the difference for us. And the reason that we sit here today is because of someone like you who touched our lives, who crossed our path, who helped us to get on the right track in many cases, and helped us to get on the track where we can be successful. So I just want to stop for a moment and thank you for all the work that you're doing, all the work that you will do. And one day when you're sitting at a restaurant eating, and that youth that you worked with 10, 15 years ago stops by the table and says hello and what a difference you made in their lives, and then they walk away and you sit there and smile because you remember that interaction, and then they do something even bigger and better. They pay for your meal, which you never expected, right? So I just want to stop for a minute just to say thank you for what you do. And to Jerry Way and Councilmember Chenier and all the others who worked on this, you asked the question, are you moving the needle? Are you moving in the right direction? There is no question when I look at this document and when I listen to all the speakers who came before us today that we're moving in the right direction, that we are moving into a youth development framework that are going to help our youth to one day run this city and take it over and move this needle even further than we've ever seen it before. And the one statement that's in this document that probably resonates with me the most, and I hope we live by this, it comes under the value statements when we talk about the youth voice. And there's a statement in there that says, nothing about us without us. There is nothing done about us without us being at the table. And we have to live by that principle. We have to listen to our youth. And many of them didn't speak tonight, but their voices are heard in other areas, whether it be on commissions or whether it be in our events or whether it be on the initiative we did this summer with the youth coming to work with us in internship positions. We hear our voice all the time. We ought to keep their voice front and center. And I think the question for me, and it was asked a couple of times, what are the next steps? So we have a receive and file tonight. What are the next steps? I know we're going to do the town hall meeting, gather more information, but what are the next steps to move us to action so that all this work that people felt like they've invested in, they will be able to see that results? And then the question that Councilmember Carr will always ask is, how will we know when we've seen the results that we want? So, Mr. Way, I'm asking those questions.
Well, thank you, Vice Mayor. Those are the exact right questions. They're not quite ready for prime time, but let me just kind of summarize this in a very kind of short story. When I started down this path, the city manager assigned me, he said, Jerry, I want you to carry the ball on this. I'm your public works director. I spent 37 years building things. I spent 37 years developing and training and making a workforce that I was proud of. I didn't know anything about youth development. I met Claudia Jason by way of Councilmember Chenier, and I got to tell you, I'm in love with this thing. Because all the work that we've done, this framework, the strategic plan part, the campaign plan, all of it culminates in all the things that I've been in leadership my whole life. You have to show all the folks where you're headed before you can get there. The next steps for us is we've got to figure out, we do a great job in our departments today. The police department, our Parks and Recreation department, the utility department, public works department, city manager's office. We do a lot of great youth stuff already. Now what we got to do is we got to take a look at what are we doing that's in conjunction with this framework? Are there gaps? How do we fix our house first? How do we continue to collaborate and work with our community-based organizations so that they can be a part of this fun and excitement of moving that needle too? This notion about rolling a basketball out didn't come from me. That came from others that are wiser than I. But if you're just measuring and checking boxes based on your attendance, then you're not doing anything at all. And that's what I get excited about with this. This takes the city of Sacramento to a whole new level so that we're measuring those successes, and we'll see the outcomes.
Well, everyone who came up and spoke tonight said we're moving in the right direction, and that was a good thing. And they are ready to move to action. And so I just want to make sure that we don't get caught up so much in perfecting the model that we're not moving to action. So my goal is to get involved in whatever way possible that moves us from planning and organizing to implementation and monitoring so that we can see the results that we ultimately want. Thank you.
Good. Thank you so much. Councilmember Ashby.
Thank you. So the scouts in the room from Natoma stayed for this item because one of the criteria that they're working on for the achievement that they're going after is to stay at a council meeting and listen to a specific item. They chose this one, and then they'll sit down with me in the next week or so and discuss it and ask me their questions and what they think about it. And I just think it's very appropriate that this is the item they happen to be listening to and that they stayed here for. And I have a couple questions about this. I would agree we're moving in the right direction. I think that's true. But I have just some things in my mind that are just hard to remedy with this. The vision and mission are beautiful. I think a lot of people will adopt these, as you and I have talked about. A lot of other groups will adopt these as sort of a citywide vision and mission. But I feel like the emphasis in here is a lot what you just said, Jerry, which is sort of the gaps. And there's so much that we're doing well. I'm not sure what we're doing well is captured in here. And I just want to make sure that's captured as well. So let me give you an example. We have youth voice on here, which I would agree with Councilmember Jennings is an incredibly important statement. Not just about their words, though, not just about young people having an opportunity to have input, but literally, as you heard from the Sac High student, participatory government. So you all know we've talked a lot about the program that I run out of my district that has 500 kids involved. They're meeting a high school requirement for engagement, and they're choosing to do that in a very participatory way with the city. Might be in parks, might be here in City Hall. It can be across the board, but I think we should look for opportunities to plug people in. It's what Summer at City Hall does so well. It's really not covered in this document. I think this document focuses a lot on gaps, on social equity, on groups that we all up here fight hard for and feel don't get represented enough. But I want to make sure that we give credit where we're really doing great work too. So for example, our after-school programs are stellar. Our daycare programs, our swimming programs, our youth sports programs are really good. And I think maybe we've over-relied on them in the past, and so we're looking for these programs, as Councilmember Hansen says, that help kids with grit and courage and being able to move forward and feel like part of their city. It's all our city. But I want to make sure we don't leave out these other things that we're doing so well. How do swim lessons fit into this? How do Camp Oasis fit into this? How do the kids who are doing robotics programs after school with the library fit into it? And one, issue I have too is the word partner is nowhere to be found on this document. It's not listed once, the word partnership. And I think we're missing out on a big opportunity if we leave out schools and libraries and scouts and sports teams and all of these entities that are out there, Greater Sac Urban League. I mean, half of them are in the room to talk about this. Daryl Roberts' crew. We want them to be our partners. So it's not just going to be about us. It's not just going to be, here's the city administering programs, telling everybody what they get. Instead, it's going to be, here's the school district in the city working on something. Here's the library in the city working on something. Here's the Roberts Family Community Center and the Greater Sac Urban League all working on something together, or Center for Fathers and Families, whatever, because I want to make sure those partnerships are paramount to this, because we also spent 2.5 hours today in a meeting to hear about all the money that we don't have and all the PERS liability coming down the pipe. So we need to be able to build off of what some of our partner agencies have, whether that's you have 0 to 5 on here as a top goal. So how is First 5 a partner for us? How can they help us with some of the programs? How do we partner with Reading Partners on grants that they're going after to help with literacy? So I just would like to see partnership and how that rolls out. And then how, we're calling it a citywide plan. I actually represent the area with the school district that is the most diverse school district in the entire United States of America. In fact, these kids are all in that school district. How do we make sure that kids from every ethnic background are included in what the city is doing? The Sikh kids and the Muslim kids and all these, we've got kids everywhere coming from all different places, and I want to make sure that all of that is honored. So if we're talking about citywide youth programs, needs to be a really broad net, with specific targets and goals, and of course hitting the gaps, but really broad for all the kids that are out there. You're right, we do a great job with academies, but at the end of the day, I want to look at a program like this, and when we do take the vote, as so many people are asking for, I want to be able to see from where we're allocating the funds how I can
take that and put it into action in my district. So for example, the mayor and I talked a lot about career pathways for kids. And one thing we both really like and have talked about often are these academies. And the police academy does it, but we're talking about Joint Public Safety Academy. So that, I want to see how this feeds something like that. It hits so many target goals for us because it puts people in the pipeline for us to hire, but it also hits the mayor's initiatives about 1,000 Strong and kids getting jobs and being employable. It also helps us diversify our workforce to make our workforce actually reflect our population because we are putting the opportunity out there to kids, broadening the application pool. So I just want to see how that can be fleshed out a little bit more inside of this document to achieve those types of goals. I do think it's a great start, and I do think that, there's real opportunity inside of this. And just as a side note, a lot of people up here talking about their personal experiences. My personal experience with poverty was not as a child, it was as a mom, a single mom of a child. And Child Action is the reason that I was able to go to UC Davis and McGeorge Law School. Because I had Child Action, I was able to pay for childcare, to work full-time and put my son through school. So these programs serve families, right? And I think that is an important component too, not to be lost in the mix.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yes, the architect here, Councilmember Chenier. Speak.
So first, just a couple of thank yous. I want to start with Mr. Way. It's been great working with you on this and watching you kind of develop your own youth development framework of how you got here, and really having those discussions about moving from programs to systems and trying to create a system for what we should be looking at here. And I want to thank Claudia also for helping to lead so much of this and use your experience. The 29 organizations that kind of came together and spent 4 days together really working on this over a period of time put a lot of effort in their years and years of experience, on the ground experience working on this. I visited a couple of times during their workshops, and the amount of energy in the room was really fabulous because these were people who cared deeply enough about our young people in the city to really devote their time and energy above what they do every day, above their current jobs, to make all of this happen, and saw the importance of it. And I particularly want to thank the youth. The Youth Town Hall was a great experience. Crystal, you did a great job facilitating. I would hire you any day of the week to do that with all of your colleagues that came down to do that. And I'll look forward to the next one that we have. And want to thank you for that and all of the young people who are so articulate today. I mean, over and over again, it just proves that when you give young people an opportunity and provide the right resources and the right venue, they're going to shine. And we have so many wonderful kids here in the city. And I think this is such an important time to do this. I mean, as Eric said, it's been a hard few weeks here with young people being shot and killed and being in the wrong place at the wrong time. We had in Oak Park 3 vigils last week. 2 of them were actually organized by young people for themselves. Those are the things that we want them to do, but we want them to be able to do it not over the death of a peer, but around positive things happening in their communities. I think it's an appropriate time, and I'm excited to move forward on this. I want to say a couple things about really what this is and what this isn't. And this was discussions that Jerry and I had, because I think as you look at, people continually kind of revert back to program. This is not about program. This is really a document that we would hold our programs up against as a mirror and say, are we doing these things so that the programs are really of quality and can achieve what we want? So as we think about what we want as a vision and mission for our young people, that's very explicit in here. The rest is how we do what we do and how we think about young people as an asset and a resource in our community. The values are incredibly important, and Rick, you're right. The Nothing About Us Without Us came directly from the Youth Town Hall. It was my biggest takeaway that day, and something that we should always look at and say, are we doing it the right way? Again, this is a mirror that we can look at and say, here's a program, whether it's START or 4th R. Are we holding up to these values when we talk about the program? Does this program fit into kind of the goals that we've set for ourselves and for our kids? Social justice piece is incredibly important. We could not move forward without that, as we've talked about in so many different ways. And then the supports and opportunities when we talk about safety, when we talk about relationship building and skill building, and youth participating in the leadership of what they're doing and being involved in their communities. We didn't make that up. This is 25 years of youth development research going into this, but all of the 29 organizations coming together and saying these are the most important principles that we have. Again, I think what we're doing here is not adopting a program. We are trying to change the way we think about young people as an asset in our community. And I want to provide one example from today. So we had a couple of staff people from the city who are looking at the general plan for 2040 and looking at how we're going to do community outreach and who we have to talk to about this. The fact is that nowhere on any of their plans were young people. And when we talk about 2040, most of us should be around, hopefully, but yeah, for sure. But this 2040 is about our young people, and if we don't include them in the planning and take what they have to offer, then we're failing. We're failing, I think, our young people because we're not taking advantage of who they are and what they bring to the table. And I think we're failing our city because we are proscribing for them the city that they should live in, rather than working with them to decide what they want. So I'm excited about this. The next item is really about infrastructure and how things can get done and how to facilitate it. But this two-page document, and I've seen a lot of youth development plans, and I've been to a lot of cities that have done this, and you know, we've talked to people in San Francisco and Oakland and Virginia City and Virginia Beach and others who are doing great work around young people. This puts us immediately at the top of the list, I think, with those cities who are doing so much. So my hope is that we have one more youth town hall, which is the 14th of this month. I would want to invite all of the council members to come. The mayor came last time. I think it was a pretty cool experience. We had about 50 young people who were telling us what they needed, and they were incredibly articulate and involved in a positive experience moving forward where they will have influence. So my hope is following that youth town hall, Jerry Way, you will still be around to bring this back to us. Yes, you will. Right, Howard? Yes, you will. So that this will come back as an action item so we can vote and adopt it. If there are tweaks we need to make, please work with Claudia and Jerry to make sure that it happens. This can always get better. It will always be a dynamic document. But I think it really draws a line in the sand about who we are and what we value. And we value our young people, and we want to work with them so that they can be successful in school, career, and life. That should be our motto for everything that we do as we move forward.
Great work. Thank you. Well said. Can't top that. Thank you for all, except to say thank you for everybody who put in the real hard work to get us started here. And you know, change culture by sending signals. And we send signals by how we choose to organize ourselves and our city. That's what we are beginning to do here, and I think it's a great step, so thank you. Okay, let's move on to the next item, please.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Chris Common, the former Director of Parks and Recreation, and we're going to talk a little bit about a new name change and some exciting stuff. So, I just want to say that the mayor couldn't have given a better introduction when he said changing culture is about changing organization and really modifying how we want to do things. We're going to talk a little bit about that now. And the vice mayor made a point about, where's the action component? What's this going to look like in execution? So what I'm going to give you is the city's main effort, if you will. How we're going to set up for success and how we're going to put in our primary bid for executing this concept of youth development underneath this great citywide plan that we're developing. First off, I want to thank all of the council members and their staffs for collaboration. We've had the opportunity to go out and brief every one of your staffs or yourself personally on this, and thank you for all your input. The other thing I want to do is emphasize that a year ago, we actually started this up. We started a strategic planning effort in Parks and Recreation because even then we realized that we needed to be better organized for success. That strategic planning effort included not only our entire department, but stakeholders. Several of you were interviewed, and we also went out into the community and talked to the public about it to take their input. We brought in a contractor to help us with that, and they analyzed not only our department, but they looked across the country at other Parks and Recreation departments to create the right structure, the right mission, the right operation parameters for us. That strategic planning effort went all the way up until April, where we hit the pause button because we were asked to reorganize, but all the benefit of that work went into this, in addition to working hand in hand with this development of the citywide plan for youth development. I was present personally for about the last 4 meetings, and we had staff integrated completely with this. So this plan that you take a look is a beneficiary of all of that work up until this date. So, having taken all of that in, having looked at it, I want to introduce your new department and your new department name. The Department of Youth, Parks, and Community Enrichment. So, this is a synthesis of the things that are our core functions. This is respecting the fact that we have been involved with youth development, as Councilmember Ashby said, and we do a lot of things particularly well, as Councilmember Guerra said. But it's taking those things now, reorganizing, capitalizing on that, and doing it right. It's doing our best effort to shape those youth and to ensure that we make our best investment for the future, which is taking care of those youth, a lot of whom you saw in this audience tonight, and setting them on the right path. Parks in the broadest sense, in the idea that these are the safe spaces, as was mentioned before. Where do people go when they want to have a neighborhood hub? Where do they go when they want to have solid recreation, but they also want to have the opportunity to develop themselves? And community enrichment, this concept of building those strong neighborhoods. Councilmember Hanson talked about being resilient. What we want to do is build resilience not only in people, but in the places and in the societies that they live in those villages, if you will, that make up this great city of Sacramento, so that people can then develop and that they grow the roots and they become strong and resist the outside diseases, if you will, that influence society today. Okay, with that new name comes a new mission. Underneath the theme of diverse, dynamic, and together, our new mission becomes we empower our youth, strengthen our neighborhoods, and provide life-enriching programs for a beautiful, livable community. This concept starts with our youth because that's our most important bid for success. But it also recognizes that it doesn't end there. As Councilmember Ashby mentioned, it's about the people that develop. It's about the adults. It's about the families. It's about the people that become seniors. It's about those with special needs or special interests. And continuing to enrich them so that we create those strong communities that are going to build our city and make this place truly livable. This mission is then reinforced by core values that we all ascribe to. And those include all those things that you would want to see out of a great department, out of what you would want to see out of a place that is really providing services to your city and helping this city become all that it needs to be. And we point ourselves at a vision that's aspirational, but I think is critical, that our beautiful parks and enriching programs create a thriving community with healthy, strong, cohesive neighborhoods. Like a strong body, a strong neighborhood resists the social diseases that might come in and influence the gangs, the drugs, all of those things. That's really where we're going to build our inner strength. Having taken these core values and these vision and this mission, Then we're going to take a look at the pillars that we stand on. Early in this, it was identified that we really are a youth development organization. Over 50% of our budget and 50% of our staff already do those functions. So it's a matter of taking that pillar, reinforcing it, and setting up our organization so that we can do it the right way. So that's our best bid for success. We start with the youth. We want to create a cradle-to-career pathway for them so that we can take care of them all the way on through, and we are putting them on the right pathway. The parkland facilities then become our neighborhood hubs, our safe spaces, our classrooms where we do our work. This includes the pools, this includes the community centers that are out there, all of those that are sustaining these programs and really providing the critical infrastructure to do what we need to do. Lifelong learning and recreation recognizes the fact that eventually those youth we invest in become adults, and the adults then become the parents of the next generation of youth. And in some cases, they become the mature adults that we need to take care of, or they become that special needs child that we need to set up access leisure for and take care of. Or they simply become the people that want to play softball in a park in a safe environment and create community strength and community enrichment. Community enrichment really is recognizing the fact that this city is a network of villages, and that by making those villages stronger and integrating and providing them services, we integrate them, and then we create a more powerful neighborhood, a more powerful city itself. Okay, these pillars then are supported by enabling functions, which are really the machinery that makes all of this work. So it shouldn't be a surprise to anybody, but I think you'll see here listed out, and it is significant, is those partnerships and collaborations. Richard Dana's still here. I got Richard Danielson. I've got David Heitzman. A lot of the people that are partners with us, the police were in here earlier with their cadets. We can't do this alone. But what we're going to do is create the infrastructure to allow us the capacity, the consistency, and the control to be able to work with these partners in a good fashion, and again, ensure that we're meeting the requirements of this overall city plan, this vision that we have together. Next up. The goals that we've set for ourselves are, again, identifying pathways for the youth. Every time we see a child come into one of our venues, be it a community center, a pool, be it a TOTS program for pre-year school, be it one of our 4th R programs or START programs, we need to be influencing that individual child. We need to be trying to create that pathway. We need to make sure that our programs are sticky. And by that I mean that the kid not only comes in to play basketball, or the child doesn't just come in with their mother because they want to go to an adult program, but in some way we're influencing that child and we're trying to lead them on the right pathway. And that means not only being articulate on our own programs, but articulate on the wide variety of programs provided by nonprofits, provided by other departments in the city, and focusing those kids on how they can get to them. Being the information source as well as the mentor, the coach, and in some cases the peer that's providing services to those youth and getting them on a safe, positive pathway to success. Quality parkland and recreation facilities is identifying the fact that nobody's going to find our areas to be safe spaces to be their neighborhood hubs if they're not safe and of themselves, if they're not quality, if they're not being taken care of effectively. Lifelong learning, lifelong recreation and learning is recognizing that as people mature, they still want to be part of this system. We don't leave them off at the rail station at 21. We want to keep taking care of them all the way through their life and make them into the solid residents and parents that they need to be for that next generation. Livability in strong neighborhoods, as I already identified, is our reinforcement against social ills. It's making sure that we build this into the kind of community that people want to come to, grow roots, raise families, and contribute as best they can to that society. And then finally, success through excellence. Our citizens, our residents deserve nothing less than excellence from us. So that's where we aspire to be, is to be as good as we possibly can be with that. Next up. Okay, so we take this intellectual framework, we take this conceptual framework, and now we have to figure out how we're going to organize based on it. Next. Okay, we start with a director of youth, parks, and community enrichment, and that would be me. Underneath me, Ms. Shannon Brown. She winds up being the deputy director of youth, parks, and community enrichment. She has underneath her 2 special staffs, Park Safety, who are the rangers, and administration to take care of that machinery to make things work. And then we have a youth development division. Now, I want you to take a look underneath the city manager's office. There is a city-wide youth programming manager. The concept there is this is the individual who is overseeing the policy aspect of a citywide youth development plan, the plan that you were briefed on in the last presentation. They make sure that we're writing the right policies, that people are abiding by it. They put in the metrics to ensure that we're achieving those goals downstream, so that it's not just words on a paper, that we're actually holding ourselves to making these things occur and making them happen. You'll notice that we identify that as being over youth development, and that's the concept that basically they're writing the policy that's the Bible for that youth development division that we're going to create. Underneath our youth development division are all those things that we currently do, over 26 programs that are providing youth services in our communities. Currently, they are spread out all throughout our department, and that was just budgetary reasons in past days. But we're going to now locate them underneath one division so that literally every day the manager of youth development is waking up solely thinking about how they can do a better job of youth development in the city, being informed by the citywide program and working in conjunction with the other partners we have. Next up. Community and recreation is where we place all of those other services that we do for lifelong learning and enrichment. They're the community centers, they're the aquatics, the pools that are out there. Granted, these venues and these operations also include a youth component like Access Leisure, but they meet a broader audience. So we put them over in community and recreation, although they are still working off of that same citywide youth plan for the youth that they're working with. Next up. Park maintenance and planning facilities. We identified the fact that we had a division of planning for parks, and we had, for instance, the guys that take care of the pumps at fountains were located over aquatics. It just did not make sense organizationally. We're going to put these guys together. It creates better synchronicity. We now have the folks that are planning parks working with the park people that are maintaining parks. It just makes a far more efficient program. Last, we've got neighborhood services, neighborhood support and enrichment. That area right now is under construction. As you know, that's being looked at under a separate study. Max Fernandez, one of our former assistant city managers, is looking at that. We will see what comes out of it. What we have done to help them in the short term is we have moved out a lot of the youth components that they used to do, like summer at City Hall and hotspots, and we put that underneath the youth division. That way they can be a pure and clean organization that solely works on neighborhood support.
Let me just, if I may, on that, I know tonight's not the night we're discussing or debating neighborhood support and enrichment, but, and maybe this is just a placeholder, as you say, Chris, but neighborhood services and support is intended as an umbrella that integrates parks, community and recreation, youth development, park maintenance planning, police, fire, code enforcement, neighborhood economic development. In other words, that does not belong as a division of one particular department within our city. So I don't know if that was intended or not, but I just want to be clear that when we've talked about neighborhood services and as we're engaging in this conversation, beginning conversation, the community around neighborhood economic development, that's just like youth development, that's an overarching philosophy here and not a division within one particular department.
Right. Absolutely, sir. And that's we're just simply noting the fact that right now they're currently located with us, and we'll continue to sustain them until such time as the city makes a final determination.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Next. Okay. So, again, this is where the youth development winds up. Now we're going to talk about implementation. Immediately, we're already consolidating the hotspots into a youth development division. We've moved them out of our neighborhood services. We're updating our computer labs because that's important for our kids. They're going there after school and they want to use them for homework. We're continuing to facilitate the Mayor's 1,000 Strong program. We provide administration for that. We've also helped in providing places for those interns to go to, and you heard a couple of them talk tonight. We've moved that pool maintenance aspect over into our maintenance folks so that they're working together and they're building synchronicity throughout that division. We're supporting the Human Resources Initiative, and this is a long-standing thing where we're trying to reclassify our positions and make them make more sense. That study is now being very well informed by this reorganization. It's going to help us. Short term, and by short term I would mean within the next few months before the end of the calendar year, we intend to consolidate the remaining youth programs into that youth division that we just described here. We'll collaborate with the citywide youth development manager once that individual is identified and appointed. And the goal there is to create the metrics that were discussed here a minute ago. What are those hard things we're going to do to try and determine how things work? For instance, should we be looking at youth employment numbers as a real indicator of whether we're being successful on a cradle-to-career strategy? Should we be looking at number of kids going into college? Should that be the way that we actually analyze our success instead of merely participatory numbers? We're running Youth Development Institute for managers. We've run 3 Youth Development Institutes for staff this year. Usually we only run about 1. My intent is to run the entire department through a Youth Development Institute to change the culture. As was mentioned, that's the hardest part, is changing culture. So we're going to get everybody through that. And we're going to start with our managers. Our managers will go through the training in November, and that'll be about 40 managers throughout the entire department to try and get that culture change kick-started. And then we're going to start identifying more grant opportunities for youth. Previously, we didn't have the capacity to do that. This new organization will give us that. Long term, okay, and this is more within the budget realm, provide resources to ensure effective rollout of this. There are some resource things that we have identified, and we're working with the city manager and finance on those. We want to implement real strong performance measures. I mentioned the youth employment figures, but also I mentioned stickiness in our programs. Every time we get somebody into our programs, we ought to be analyzing whether we're getting them to come back again and whether we're really having any influence on them and what positive feedback we can get from their participation. We're working with Daniel Sanchez, who has performance measures on that already, and we anticipate we'll be able to get some very good metrics in here. I'm also working with Sacramento State, and they've got a couple of their folks that are helping us in the recreation department, youth department, to try and help us with those statistics as well. We want to keep up this dialogue that's going on that was started with Claudia and her team, with a lot of the stakeholders and with a lot of the youth, and ensure that we keep that constant feedback mechanism. And finally, coordinating with the other departments. We are working heavily right now at the police department and a lot of their youth programs. We're trying to reinforce each other in all that we do. We're trying to do the same thing throughout the rest of the city. And I mentioned our partners are incredibly valuable. Many of our CBOs that have come and worked with us, some of them leasing our community centers or working at our pools, they make our program stronger, and we want to continue that in the future. Next up.
Thank you very much.
Your questions.
Comprehensive report. I know I've got a comment or two, but I'm going to wait till after the public testimony. Let's go with that.
Thank you. I have 9 speakers for public comment. The first one is Brian Cowan, then Emma Cowan, and then Mario Lopez Mendez. Was Brian here? No. Emma or Mario Lopez Mendez?
Go ahead.
I start now? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, well, first of all, I would like to, my name is Brian Cowan, and I would first of all like to say thank everyone up here, and Stephanie and Monica, and just Sacramento community, for allowing me to be able to say what I want to say up here about the L&L and primetime programs. I think they're very, very good programs, and I feel that more kids should know about this program. I try to spread the word, and I've learned a lot from it, like good work ethic, and I feel it's just really, really helpful, and it helped me a lot, so thank you.
Thank you so much for coming. And you don't need permission, by the way, to come and talk to us. That is your right and your obligation. So good.
Hello, my name is Emma Cowan, and I'm here to represent Landscape and Learning Program and Primetime Teen. I would like to say that this has helped better my future greatly. I've already had 2 jobs since Primetime Teen, and I'm in college right now, and I'm studying to become a music therapist. I would also like to say it has bettered my interview skills and has bettered me as a person altogether, working with groups and leadership, and I believe this program should continue on to better the futures of youth for Sacramento. Thank you.
Next speaker is Mario Lopez Mendez, and following Mario is Lamagetsky McClellan.
Good evening, Council. On behalf of the SAC Youth Works interns, I would like to give thanks to Neighborhood Services and the Department of Parks and Recreation for providing opportunities for Sacramento's youth, as well as the mayor and council members for creating a wonderful work environment. My name is Mario Lopez Mendez. I am a sophomore at Sacramento City College, where I am also employed via the Federal Work Study Program. I learned of the SAC Youth Works program through my former WIOA program advisor, who assisted me in my transition from subsidized employment to unsubsidized employment during my time in the WIA program as a high school senior. My experience in the hashtag SAC Youth Works program has without a doubt been a memorable one. It has fulfilled my desire to see the inner workings of my local government in action. I was placed in the office of Councilman Eric Guerra to assist with district projects and events. I have learned and improved on a variety of skills such as communication, data entry, organization, and logistical planning. I took full advantage of the opportunity to work with the councilman's office and always performing at my very best, always remaining vigilant for learning opportunities and to learn any new skills or to even simply ask about the various processes of government, such as promptly and appropriately addressing constituents' concerns. That hashtag SAC Youth Works brought together a multitude of city departments, as well as local businesses, to create a phenomenal program for Sacramento's youth to gain full first-hand work experience in their desired work setting. Thank you again to everyone who came together with the program to offer us the opportunity to gain access to the experiences that otherwise may not have been learned in the classroom.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Mayor, if I could.
Yes, of course.
Just first, I want to thank, Mario here. He's been just a great asset to our office. I think of him more than an intern, but he's also a constituent down in Southeast Village, south of Elder Creek in District 6, and I think has been an example for all the youth out there that he's been interacting with. So if I could ask for a big round of applause for his commitment to District 6.
Yeah.
Thank you, Councilman.
Thank you. It's very, very articulate. Thank you.
Ms. McClellan and then Kimberly Maxies.
Hi, you guys. My name is La Majesty McCullen. I work for the Parks and Recreation for Miss Sylvia Fort back there.
I'm sorry.
I work for the Parks and Recreation for Miss Sylvia Fort.
Aha.
Yeah, I've been with the city for at least 3 years now. I started off when I was 15. My first job for the city was the L&L. And then I tried to apply again for the city again, which was for the WIOA program, and that's when Monica and Luz let me become a part of the WIOA program, which taught me a lot, as in job readiness, being prepared for work, being on myself about work, being serious about what I want to do in life, And they put me into the city hall with Miss Camille Wise and Melissa and Sheila, and they made me feel very welcome in a different environment that I wasn't used to. And then I left the city hall with Miss Sylvia and them, with Miss Camille and them, I say around April, and then I got introduced to Miss Sylvia. And I started working for Miss Sylvia, which was a very good experience for me, It showed me how to stay dedicated to what I want to do and keep my mind focused, even though I have a lot going on around me. I can always stay dedicated to what I want to do truly for myself. So I appreciate working for the city, and I appreciate these internships and programs that are open for the youth and for kids like me who need a better chance and a better opportunity in life. So I want to thank you guys.
Well, thank you for sharing your story, and keep going, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Yes, sir.
So this young lady has been very instrumental in helping us with the gang intervention and prevention program. And she comes to the meetings from time to time when her schedule allows her. And if I could have her all the time, I'd have her at every single meeting because of her knowledge and what she brings to the table as far as her contributions to the things that we're discussing and the strategies that we're putting in place. So I just want to give a shout out to her because she has no idea how valuable she is to the work that we're doing here in the city and how much I appreciate what she brings when she comes to our meetings.
And I'm also happy that you said that because there's more to that particular category that I personally want to help and dedicate myself to because I feel like I can make a change in my community. And by my community, I'm saying the Oak Park community in specific.
You can, and you are.
And I will.
Are you will. Okay, thank you.
Speakers Kimberly Maxey's and then Laureen Brown.
Hi, my name is Kimberly Maxey's. I attend Leroy Green Academy. I am currently a senior. I'm here on behalf talking about the Summer at City Hall program, a part of Department of Parks and Recreation and Neighborhood Services Division. I participated in the Summer at City Hall program within the year of 2016. It was a really great experience for me. I learned about the local government. I got to interact with youth with the same passions and advocating for the community also like me. I got to learn more about my city and more of government because I haven't learned government until senior year, so it was really insightful for me just to learn about the local government within Sacramento and public speaking skills and how to interact in an interview and just how to advocate for my community. Because it's really important because they don't teach you those things in school anymore. They don't teach you government. They don't teach you how to talk in an interview or how to interact with your coworkers or how to fix problems. So Summer at City Hall was really just a refreshing experience to me, and I really enjoyed my experience. And that's why I applied to be a returning youth. I actually came back this summer as one of the interns because I really enjoyed my experience and being involved in such like a positive experience. Such a Summer at City Hall for young teenager as me, and I just really appreciate the Summer at City Hall experience and the staff that I met. It was just such a refreshing experience, and I'm really glad I took the chance there because it was such a great experience.
Terrific, thank you.
Next speaker is Lorraine Brown. Following Ms. Brown is Destiny Williams.
Okay, well, you know, as a psychologist, I have a lot to say about this, but I wanted to say about Parks and Recreation, what I had is not as important as thanking you. That was a wonderful presentation, very inspiring and encouraging. Hallelujah. We need to take back our cultural landscape. And Mayor, I do disagree with the neighborhood watch being over anything, or neighborhood, whatever you call it.
Neighborhood watch.
Whatever you call it, because what I have found, we have a diverse group that are not from our culture, and they're very political and they're very militant and inappropriate, and a lot of them come from backgrounds where they're not qualified. So I would much prefer if they...
I really don't know what you're saying here.
Well, I'm saying that you're...
Insulting people.
No, I'm saying that you questioned or objected to the flow chart there, and I'm going to add my input because I have a right to do that as a psychologist, and I know you as a mayor just said that it's our obligation, so I'm going to go ahead and continue to tell you if you feel that they're valuable, they should be an advisor to you, but I don't think parks should be under it. And the other part is our governor was able to reclaim a lot of money that was lost and misappropriated in the parks. Growing up in this culture, going to the parks was one of our richest experiences, as the youth are all testifying. And it was a social enrichment, and it was a cultural enrichment, and it was a gathering place. And we want to keep it that way, friendly, open, healthy. And because money was misappropriated, I think it's even more important that the city council is over parks, not any one subdivision. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
My next speaker is Destiny Williams, and then Dwayne Ewing.
Right, okay.
Hi, my name is Destiny Williams, and I'm from Sacramento High School, and I work for the Parks and Recreation at the Oak Park Community Center. I started working last year, when I turned 16, after I went to the programs. The government has provided Primetime Team. Primetime Team helped change me because it actually showed me how to, when I first walk into an interview or when I first when I want to do something, it shows me how I have to keep striving for it, not to give up and quit and halfway between it. The Oak Park Community Center had different programs for people like me in the youth programs. So that way, instead of not doing anything, we always have something to do and something to be a part of. Yeah, I'm done.
And our last speaker is Dwayne Ewing.
Hello, Mayor and City Council. My name is Dwayne Ewing. First, before Destiny went back to her seat, I just wanted to give her a shout out because she's one of the students that came up. I work at the Oak Park Community Center, and she's been working there, and she's a great employee. Let's give her a round of applause. She's good.
Don't be shy.
Exactly. So she's like an example of everything that we're doing and trying to put these initiatives together to empower the youth. We had some other youth that also got employed, but they didn't come. They were kind of shy. So we gave them that break this time. Next time they'll be here though. But I just want to say I'm excited about this restructuring. I believe it's a very important step that we're taking, and it's going to be very inspirational for a lot of these youth. When we speak about youth development, I think, of course, we automatically think about youth, but I think what's even more important is the community aspect. And in order to create that sustainability we talked about and that stickiness that Mr. Chris talked about, so that we can really empower Sacramento to be the great city that we all want it to be, and to ensure that our youth are really getting engaged and being a part of this, because that it's really about them. Although we are all adults and we're here and we're advocating for these things, it's important that the youth are excited about this. So we need people to go out into the community, get the youth engaged, get the youth excited about this, to ultimately shift this culture and make this be everything that we want it to be. So I'm excited. I thank Mr. Conlon for all the work he's done. Thank Ms. Linda at the community center. She came and we've been doing a lot of positive stuff, just investing in the community and having money to actually put the stuff forward. So thank you guys, and I'm looking forward to this opportunity to build and create.
Fabulous. Thank you so much for...
Dwayne, what school do you go to?
I go to Sacramento State. Yeah, I met with you a couple weeks back. Also.
What do you do?
I go to Sacramento State. I'm a sociology major. Yeah, Stingers up.
That's right.
Yeah. I also do outreach in the community. I go to high schools and connect with youth. And I'm a music artist. I met with Mr. Guerra about 2 weeks ago at the Ice Cream Soul Show over at George Simmer. We were talking about me sharing some of my music with him, because it's inspirational music that's targeting youth, to tell them that there are alternatives. And things like this new department is an example of that.
What are you going to do when you graduate?
Change the world.
There you go.
Right in. And help to create this culture in Sacramento before I head out to another city or something.
But two things real quick. I don't think you need to wait till you graduate to do the world-changing thing. I think we need that right now.
Right.
And
Right.
Can you please check in with Claudia about your music? She's got an idea she wants to share with you.
Okay.
Okay.
Who's Claudia?
Right there.
Hi, Claudia.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, guys.
man. That is the public testimony on the reorg. Jay, you want to go last? Because I have a question or comment, whatever you want to do. Okay.
Thanks. I just want to thank Chris. This reorg has been a journey to really get to a place that will support the goals that we have as a city for young people. This is not something we ever have to vote on. This is really under the city manager's prerogative to reorganize, which is great. And I assume it will only get better as we go and really figure out what works and what doesn't, and how we can best support what our folks are doing to support young people in the community. So I just want to say thank you, and I look forward to seeing it in action.
Yeah, it's great work and a great night. I would just want to add one substantive piece to the reorg discussion, and it comes out of our experience with Thousand Strong this year, which we started great success in many respects. We're going to get up to 300 kids. The Bee did a nice, Nita Shabri did a nice front page story on the project. But, we didn't reach the goal of 1,000. It's tough. We're trying to change culture with the employer community, et cetera. One thing that strikes me, especially in listening to some of the young people, we've got L&L, we've got the primetime team, we have 1,000 Strong, we have Summer at City Hall, and then we have our school districts partners as well. And I would hope that I would ask, and this is to my colleague, Councilmember Chenier as well, but the staff who are all working and leading on this, including my own staff, that we take all of these youth development programs that provide life skills training, job training, project-based learning, paid employment, and we find a way to, if not consolidate them, because they all have their own important identities that we want to respect and champion, but that we put this stuff together functionally, because, and part of it's my fault, if you will, because I became mayor and we wanted to launch this paid youth initiative, but now that we're going to have a moment to maybe step back before next summer, I'd like to see if there could be some articulation of all of these different programs and approaches that we have, so that we're not duplicating resources, there's not overlap, the staff leaders are not inadvertently stepping on each other's toes here and trying to organize this. I just want to do this right, and I think we have every element of what we want to provide in the employment sector for young people, if it can be even better coordinated.
If I can say,
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor, you're exactly right. We actually had that meeting yesterday as a starting point. Christina, who's back there, who runs a lot of these programs.
Hi, Christina.
Claudia, Erica.
Erica.
Talia from the Chamber, who's
The
been
Chamber,
working on
sure.
Thousand Strong, to talk exactly about that for everything you said, but also for young people. So as
Right.
they want to do something and get a job, they need to be able to figure out what is this program, what is that program, and not be confused about it.
Single point
So-
of entry and
Exactly, so
all
we,
that. Yeah.
and Andrew was there as well, so we actually
Good.
started that discussion yesterday to.
And that
to make it work.
absolutely, that's, when I talk about a continuum, that's what I mean. I mean, we quite honestly want to create that continuum so that a kid growing up in this city, starting at the tender age of, 2 years old when they wander in a community center, in some way, we're starting to put them on that pathway. And then along that pathway, we've got the ability to nourish their achievement through things like Young Leaders of Tomorrow that teaches them life skills, through things like Primetime Team that teaches them job skills, through things like Landscape and Learning that actually teaches them how to work out there, and up to 1,000 Strong that gives them a solid internship with a real career opportunity at the end.
Yeah.
Paid, solid, yeah. So that's exactly what we want to do.
Okay.
Is build that continuum from the ground up.
Let's do it, and I think this new organization provides us that push to do it. Okay, let's sign up those 2-year-olds. Paid intern. No, just kidding. Never mind. That's it. We have one more item. I'm sorry, there's no more.
Good job, Chris.
No more testimony. Good job. It's very good. Excellent. Okay, we have one more item. This is the job growth and incentive strategy. I want to start this one out. Melissa, come on up here. So this is actually similar to what we just did in maybe a not so obvious sense. We just sent a signal about our priority to invest in young people. And this policy, which we are hopefully going to adopt, has some specificity in it, of course, but it is a signal, not only to our own, within our own city, but more importantly to the business community outside of Sacramento, everyone that's watching the Sacramento Renaissance. It's a signal that we are serious, and that if you are a job creator, and you are thinking of relocating your industry or your company to Sacramento, we have got a plan for you. So it's a signal. Melissa. Yes.
Mayor, unfortunately, I have to leave just a little bit early, but I've worked on this quite a bit with you too, and
This is not a specific company.
No, I know.
Okay.
It's the strategy. I've worked on this a little bit with you and a lot with Mr. Dangberg. And I just, before I leave, want to really issue my support. I'm really grateful to the Economic Development Department. And as you've stated, as this rolls out, I think this is one of the best things that we are doing in the whole city. This is the way for us to grow the pie, to recruit businesses, to just be on our toes and be prepared so that when big announcements happen and we have an opportunity that we aren't ever caught flat-footed in that regard. And so I just want to issue my support before I walk away. I don't want walking away to be taken as anything other than the fact that I have another priority. But thank you very much for your great work.
I understand. Thank you. Thank you, Councilmember Ashby, and thank you for your work, too. Okay. All yours.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the City Council. Melissa Anguiano, Economic Development Manager in the Office of Innovation and Economic Development. As the Mayor said, this strategy that we have before you today is really about bringing jobs and career opportunities to the city. It is a framework that allows the city and staff to quickly respond to attracting private, high-wage jobs to the city, accessing a number of tools, in most cases net new revenues generated from the industry or business locating to Sacramento, and will likely be heavily based on a number of job creation performance targets. Over the years, City Council has taken several actions to identify economic development as a priority, has taken several actions to identify the importance of diversifying our job base. This strategy underscores Council's commitment to attracting jobs. It increases our competitiveness when going after these companies, and is a way for the city to continue to seek opportunities to bring high-paying jobs to the city. Any investment considerations by the city will address an array of issues to improve Sacramento's quality of life. They will be negotiated on a case-by-case basis and all likely subject to council approval based on the dollar amount and threshold.
Yeah, that's an important point. Nothing in this policy removes public transparency, council approval, but it does give a signal to our economic development staff, for example, go out there knowing that you have the imprimatur of the city to begin thinking about and putting together incentive plans to go do so and not have to come back for permission to even start a conversation. And that's important.
Right. It really puts Sacramento in the game when looking to attract significant employment creation.
That's right. Okay, we've got some public testimony. I know. You are excited. Okay, so let's hear from the members of the public here who I know are here, and who do you got first?
I have 3 speakers, Tracy Shale, Barry Broom, and then Lorraine Brown.
Tracy Shale. Tracy and Barry, come on up. Yeah, come on up together.
Barry.
Come on, let's do it.
Good evening again. I'm Tracy Shaw, Power and Alliance, and when Melissa approached us to come and speak in support of this tonight, I was very happy to do so. As we heard earlier in the evening about the importance of these high-value jobs that Melissa is referencing, they're critical to our economy, and any opportunity that we have to have a leg up on all of the other jurisdictions out there that are fighting for those same companies and those same opportunities. We think it's a great opportunity to, have Sacramento be seen as a leader in a forward-thinking, proactive jurisdiction rather than a jurisdiction that's just waiting for something to come their way. So thank you for considering it tonight, and thank you to the Economic Development Department for putting it together.
Yep, thank you. Thank you, Tracy. Yes. Mr. Broom, I know you've helped inspire a lot of these conversations, and are helping us on all fronts attract a diverse economy here. So are you for or against this policy?
Well, I'm neutral, but, I didn't want to undermine Tracy, so, I just, well, first off, let me say, this is exactly, this is the best economic policy in California, in Sacramento. And what it'll allow us to do, Mayor, I've already had national consultants who just heard this was a possibility call me. Now we'll be out there with an understood, predictable set of benefits to employers that meet, high wage criteria for the city. And we'll build a reputation around that, and that will draw investment to the community. So it's a great policy. I really am grateful to you, Mayor, and to the city manager, the economic development team, John, and members of council for considering this. I know we haven't voted on it yet. But it's important that people understand that we have clarity in how we'll service and represent their businesses. So whether it's development services, permitting, prepared locations, as you know, this is not an Amazon deal, but as you know, Amazon came out, we're competing on that. They gave us 5 weeks to put together a 50,000 job proposal. And I was really glad that we had an opportunity. Yeah, that's what I said. We're already done. I just been sandbagging. But, this is really a great opportunity for the community to understand this is how industry operates. They're going to come in and give us 1 or 2 looks. They're working through networks of advisors. And so this puts the city of Sacramento at the top among all the cities in California and giving businesses a clear signal that if you bring in the right wages, you're the right corporate citizen, you're going to make the right commitments to our community. We understand the speed and pace at which you operate from, and we're ready. So it's a great policy. I'm very proud of the city, both as the president of Greater Sacramento, but I'm also a city resident. So I got to pull that rank every now and then.
Yep.
You know what I mean? 2120 U Street, if you want to put down my residence. So. But I'm for it too as well. Yeah. So congratulations to the city economic development team, John, the city manager, and the mayor, and the rest of council for the consideration today. Thank you.
Job. Thanks so much, Barry.
Our last speaker is Lorraine Brown.
I'm glad the mayor mentioned diverse economy, is that what you said? I think we need to move away from, or we need to think of what makes a city healthy and what's going to help the children get the experience they need, the students. And I'm a small business entrepreneur person. I believe in the middle class. So although good-paying jobs, high-paying jobs are great, it's not really very economic as far as how we're going to meet the needs of our populace here, our diverse needs. So beyond food service and medical and government and cyber, I really think we need to bring back a lot of the industry that we lost. The shopping centers that closed, which was Country Club Plaza, K Street Mall. These were viable businesses. We lost Tower Records. We lost people that have been here for years and years, and it gave the youth an opportunity to learn about retail, learn about all different industries, and work. And we lost, even I think in Elk Grove, we lost all those bicycle chalets and all that stuff. So I think it's really important, instead of just bringing in big jobs in corporations, that's great, but they don't pay very well on the lower level. And it doesn't really give people the diversity that they need. And what makes our economy strong, and which was always a tax base, was our middle class, our entrepreneurs, our small business. And that's what I'm for. And I hope you keep that in mind too. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, Lorraine. Appreciate it. Moved, approval's been moved and seconded. Again, thank you. Hey, this is like a layer, a foundation. And hopefully sooner than later, we're going to have big announcements in this city about the use of this policy to actually land some real jobs and real industries. All right, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, abstained. It's 8-0, and Councilmember Ashby indicated, of course, she would have voted for it, and she'd been here. So that's good. That's excellent. That's our meeting for tonight. We do have council ideas and questions. Are there any council ideas and questions? Councilmember Harris.
Thank you, Mayor. I wanted to announce that the annual Greek festival is going to be held October 6th through 8th, but it's not going to be at the convention center as it has been for many years. It's going to be at the Annunciation Greek Orthodox Church at 616 Alhambra Boulevard. This new facility is really quite beautiful, and I think that the Greek festival will be better than ever. So I hope you'll all come out Friday through Sunday. You can go to www.sacramentogreekfestival.com for more information. And this Saturday, Fire Station 15 will hold an open house from 2 to 4 p.m., 1591 Newborough Drive in South Natomas.
Very good. Thank you so much. Councilmember Hanson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is an item for the city manager, just for follow-up. We've been hearing a lot of reports about the syringes left around the communities that we serve, and it's led me to also wonder about two things. One, just information back from the police department about methamphetamine and heroin use. I believe there's been spikes in other cities. I'd just like to see what data we have in relation to that. And secondarily, what we can do to assist with community cleanup of syringes. As the state has approved up to 100 without a prescription for sale at any pharmacy, I think we've seen a lot more discarded syringes around the community, and it's something that potentially the Solid Waste Authority, our own solid waste team, or maybe others can help with, but I don't think we have a proactive plan at this point, but it would be helpful to begin thinking about how we really tackle those issues.
Good. Thank you so much. Councilman Guerra. Councilmember Guerra.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Just a couple quick events coming up. This Friday, October 6th, at the George Sims Community Center. Ms. V, I don't know if she's still here, but they run a great program, the District 6 Hotspots. It's a safe place for youth. Come out there and have some fun. That's beginning at 7 o'clock on Friday night, October 6th. Also, this Sunday, we, in partnership with Councilmember Chenier here in the District 5, I forgot the number. We have the annual La Familia Sacramento Hispanic Latino Community Heritage Parade. It starts at 10 a.m. Come out, bring your lawn chairs, family and friends, and enjoy a wonderful day celebrating the rich history of the Latino community in Sacramento. And also on October 14th, save the date, we have the Fire Station 60 open house over at Juilliard Drive in College Greens. That's at 2 o'clock Saturday, October 14th. Come meet your local firefighters and chat with the neighborhood. With that, thank you, Mr. Mayor, and great night tonight.
Thank you very much, Eric. Rick Jennings, Vice Mayor, Emeritus.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to tell the community if they want to meet a Pulitzer Prize winner this Wednesday at 6 o'clock at the Robbie Waters Library, we're going to have the great editorial cartoonist, Mr. Jack Oman. He's a Pulitzer Prize winner, and he'll be in the community, and it's a great opportunity to see what goes into creating great editorial cartoon. So I invite you to come.
That's great.
Then on Friday the 8th, at the Mesa Grande Park, we're going to have movie night, and we're going to be playing The Secret Life of Pets, and I've never seen it. So I don't want you to tell me what it's about because I can't wait to get in my chair, underneath my blanket, with my popcorn and my drink, and enjoying a movie under the stars, all of us kids out there doing this together. So I'm excited about that. And then the last thing, this is incredible because you'll never see this happen in the history of Sacramento. So this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. On Saturday, we're going to have the grand reopening of the Lewis Park tennis courts. And there's going to be a great competition between the mayor and the vice mayor on the tennis courts in order to get the tennis courts off and running. That's going to take place at 10 a.m. and you want to get out there early because it's going to be so crowded that there's not going to be any standing room in order to be able to see this great tennis match.
I wish you luck.
Okay, all right, you go ahead. You want to lose that money, that's fine with me. But anyway, I'm planning on taking lessons. I've been playing tennis all my life. Oh, come on. Anyway, I'm excited about the opportunity to take down the mayor, and I invite you to come out for the grand reopening of the Lewis Park tennis courts, 10 o'clock on Saturday. It's on.
And wait, it's on. End on a serious note again. I really just think we should adjourn in the memory of all the innocent victims in Las Vegas. Just reprehensible, cannot imagine what that city and all the people affected are going through, and we need to be thinking of them tonight. All right? Nothing further? We're adjourned. Thank you.